hello chat, hello stream. Welcome back to another episode of Drinks and Discussions, the RPG podcast, otherwise known as Dirty. I'm here with my good friend, Adis. My good buddy. Who I think I've only met you once.
Once or twice?
Yeah. Well, because you grew up with Tough Nuts, right?
Yeah, I grew up with him. Yeah.
I heard about you all the time. Because obviously Tough Nuts hung out with you a lot. I think you guys were like neighbors or
well, we both went to high school together, and we were close enough that we could go and drive to each other's houses pretty often.
Okay. Yeah, because I heard about him all the time, but by that point I was already long gone and I wasn't around, unfortunately. But we ended up getting to meet through Tough Nuts, and he's a great guy. Basically, we bonded over. We were the only two single guys, so we just kind of hung out together and we're cuddled for warmth in the storm. Speaking of the storm, though.
Speaking of storms,
trees, man. I'll never get over those trees. I've had so many crazy stories. I've jumped off buildings. I've gone out of helicopters, but those trees are still one of the weirdest things. Like, it's just what are the chances?
Yeah, what are the chances of one closing off our exit after we had just dropped somebody off?
Yeah.
And then we turn around to go back to their place, closes off the other end, and then we end up in the middle of it with a woman with a very large saw.
And oh man, it was storming, and we're caught between two trees with a crazy lady and a saw. It was
a night.
Good times.
Night to remember.
Bachelor parties. Well, I wasn't even the bachelor party. That was the actual wedding.
That was the actual wedding.
Yeah, and then we had to go to the wedding, and no one had a shower. No one had light or blow dryers or.
And we were staying in a tiny house.
Yeah, 3 of us fit in a 1-person tiny house, and yeah. Thank you again for that, by the way.
Of course.
Basically, my cousin and I are proper adults and flew across the country with absolutely no transportation, no hotel reservations, no nothing. We just kind of showed up and we're like, yeah, we're here. People were like, where are you staying? I don't know. How are you going to get anywhere? I don't know. And so we roped Adis into helping us out, and thankfully he agreed. But anyways, guys, we're here for Drinks and Discussions. So real quick, my name is Wrath. I run the stream. I run some stuff over on the YouTube channel, so you guys can check all that out. We've got some Let's Plays going on. We've got some tabletop role-playing game campaigns going on. We've got some is that it? The podcast, the Let's Plays, the tabletop campaigns. I feel like that basically sums it up.
I think that does.
And then we've got an in-person group, but I'm not a part of that. That's on their side. This year's Adis. He basically is a part of everything that I'm a part of, and some, and not some. You're not in the Stardew Valley Let's Play, but you are in your own TTRPG campaign.
Yes.
Yeah. So anyways, that's us. We do things. I have about, 15 years in the TTRPG scene. He has about
3 months.
3 months.
Yep.
In the RPG scene, I have a lot more in... Man, I have a lot in video game aspect, not MMO. Basically everything not MMO. I have some experience in MMO, but most of it was shitty. On my part, I don't like MMOs. Whereas when you come from RPGs, you have a lot of MMO experience, if I remember right.
MMO, yeah. So a lot of MMO experience, a lot of also some single player stuff, but yeah, mostly my slash played on WoW is too large for me to admit.
Okay, fair enough. So that's us. That's who we are. Real quick, I'll get this out of the way. I'm drinking a whiskey sour. I bet you could never guess. We should do we should not say what we're drinking at the beginning, and let it be like if you can guess what we're drinking by the end, we'll give you I don't know, his car or something.
Yeah.
And so it'll be like a poll or something. We should do that. But I bet none of you could guess what he's drinking, because he has some new thing every week. What you got?
This one's a repeat offender, but it's my favorite repeat offender. It's a Glendronach 12.
I remember this one. Yes. I don't know why, but it makes me think of a bullet. Not like a pew pew bullet, but like a D&D monster creature, the bullet. Which There is one in the Baldur's Gate 3 Let's Play, but I don't believe you've seen it yet.
Not yet.
We
Anyways.
resume that next week, don't we?
Yes, we do.
Yeah.
Back to it.
So let's talk about that. So this week, actually tomorrow, Tuesday, is our little season finale. I guess it's really more of a mid-season finale of King's Crossing, the second saga, featuring Adarag and Nimwort.
He thinks it will be, but it's actually just going to be us sitting around a fire.
Yeah, you guys are like, we're not gonna end it. We're gonna make this last. I'm curious. We'll get Tough Nuts thoughts as soon as he joins. Do you see this light? It keeps flashing.
There's a lot of light.
It's aggravating.
Right there in the wind.
I have a blackout curtain, but I haven't put it up because I want to redecorate this whole room. But I've said that for like 6 months now. And so far it's a dog bed and a longboard. So yeah, I'm not doing great. But
I think it's great decorations.
Thanks, man. Yeah, it's ta-da. So with King's Crossing the second saga, let me ask you, what would you say? And we have an Under the Table series if you guys want to watch that, where we break down the entire campaign and we go into a lot more depth and detail. But on an overall basis, how do you feel Adarag, your character, has done in the game? Not only that, how do you feel he will do? Do you think he's on the right path? Do you think there's things that you're like, oh, I really need to work on this?
Yeah, so I would say Adarag as a whole, he could use some work on his smuggling skills and his bartering skills. He hasn't really like shown any of his like his bartering prowess, I guess. You could say, like, there hasn't been, or at least he hasn't introduced a whole lot of opportunities for that to be the case. And I guess that's one thing I could work on, is start to try to blend that more into the game. But he was surprisingly much better at combat than I was thinking he was going to be.
Yeah, I remember that was actually a big worry of yours, is you were trying to figure out how combat was going to work. And then you came in there and you guys fucking did great. You guys had no problem with it, as far as I know.
No problem.
I think you both took some minor damage, but nothing like bruises, scrapes, and the like. Which, I mean, you're trolloping through a swamp. I mean, who's not going to get bruises and scrapes? And that you survived a dragon, so that's cool.
Yeah.
Oh man, there was something I was going to say on that point.
RIP Dibs.
RIP Dibs, yes. Pour one out for Dibs, guys. Oh man, there was something I was gonna say on that point. Your character has, and it's canon, a stash of trade goods somewhere in this area. The only reason you don't recognize it, and I've kind of alluded to this, but I haven't said it directly, is that the swamp has kind of taken over, and a lot of stuff is sinking, and so every time you come here, the layout is kind of changed because, you know, some landmarks get buried, you know, some get new ones or, you know, rise up and stuff, so it's always changing, so it's really hard to, you're like, it's here somewhere.
I know it's here.
What about your guys' game? You had another session yesterday, correct?
Didn't get to it.
Oh no! The Mines of Phandelver DM'd. Whoa, DM'd by apparently I'm developing a stutter. DM'd by Tough Nuts, and I think officially your first game. Did you guys beat me to it?
No, actually, you beat him to it.
Let's go. So your second game.
Second game.
Okay.
Yeah. So that one. So we were. Well, three of our 6 people were off on a bachelor party, and Tough Nuts was one of those. So
okay, that was yesterday.
That was last weekend. Yeah.
Oh, you guys wouldn't have had it last weekend, not this weekend.
Yeah, we would have had it on Mother's Day, which is why that one didn't work out.
Oh, okay.
We were trying to plan something maybe midweek or something, but things didn't really
postpone. Okay.
Yeah.
Rain check. I see.
Yeah.
Okay.
So we had to rain check.
I thought it was for yesterday. I apologize. Okay. Cool. Huh, I was gonna say if that was yesterday, no wonder he's not showing up yet. He's probably hungover and asleep. I remember on our, I don't know whose idea this was, when we went on that bachelor party together. Someone, what is this game with the Smirnoff Ices?
Oh, yeah, yeah. It's just called iced. Yeah,
It's just iced, yeah. And then
yeah,
if you guys don't know, you hide these Smirnoff Ice just around randomly, and if someone spots it, they have to
yeah,
drink it. They have to chug
yep.
it. I don't know how many of these things. Like, I'm thinking they brought like a 12 pack, maybe a 24 pack. No, these motherfuckers brought like 72 of these bitches and just hit them everywhere. And I was fucked up. Everyone was fucked
We're all
up.
fucked up.
We woke up the next day. Everyone's like, ugh. I was like, whose idea was this? Because this sucks.
And then we had to go rafting.
That's right. And then we went rafting. Oh man. I had my shit together pretty well for that rafting trip, but I remember looking
Yeah.
around and everyone's just
Ugh.
dead faced. I was like,
We had some sea shanties going, and everybody else was trying to
Yeah.
figure it out.
I remember that trying to figure it out. Yeah, you and I, man, we had some sea shanties from Black Flag?
Yeah,
Assassin's Creed Black Flag. Good
Yeah.
old classic.
classic.
Probably still to this day my favorite Assassin's Creed yet, which is saying something
Mhm.
because I'm all Vikinged out, and there is Assassin's Creed Valhalla out there. And I have not beat it once. I started replaying it recently, and I once again fell out of it. I don't know why.
I heard some people didn't like how much the combat system had changed. I heard that was a big gripe that people had with it. What are your thoughts on that?
To be honest, I didn't notice too much of a change, but I'm also an idiot when it comes to remembering. So, remembering like Black Flag combat, and granted, it's been a while since I played Black Flag too.
Mhm.
I think my biggest gripe was in Assassin's Creed Black Flag building out the, what's your ship called?
Oh, the Jackdaw.
Yeah.
Yep.
So building out the Jackdaw was awesome. It
That
was
was a lot of
awesome.
fun.
Yeah, it was so great. And you got to see it and live in it, and like whether it was the size, the speed, the cannons, like you saw it. Like you got to
Mhm.
climb over them, and like, you know, oh, they're all, like my ship has all these closed portholes, and as you built more cannons, those portholes started opening, and you're like, oh, I've got so many cannons, and it was awesome. In Assassin's Creed Valhalla, you just like build these random huts with people who don't actually do anything. They just kind of, now you have a baker. They don't do anything, but now you have a baker. And I was like, okay. I mean, it's
Alright.
kind of cool, but like, even, I'm gonna mess this up. I think it was Assassin's Creed 2 or Assassin's Creed 3. I think it was 2. 2, you had the villa. I think 3 is the, where you play Connor? Is that right?
I don't play enough
Oh
Assassin's
god.
Creed.
Yeah, it's been a long time.
Honestly, Black Flag is the only Assassin's Creed that I played.
No! Don't say that! I've played every one of them. I actually did a series on my Twitch channel a while back where I played through every single one. But I got to a point, I think it was leading up to Valhalla. I was trying to play through every single one leading up to Valhalla so then I could be ready to go into Valhalla. But I kept running. They take forever. I mean, they take forever. And so I was running out of time. Yeah, it is. I was running out of time, so I had to skip some of the smaller ones, the minor ones that were the ones where they released like 3 at a time and they were just bugged to all hell.
Unity.
Yeah. Oh, I think it was Unity, Brotherhood, and something else.
Yeah.
I can't remember, but I think it was Assassin's Creed 2. You had the villa, and I remember that was my first. That was my first like, oh my gosh, I get to like build a base. Like throughout the story, I get to build this fucking awesome base. And it was so cool. I fell in love, I fell in love with it. And that's why in all of my D&D games, if I'm a DM, you guys will have a chance to build a base because I fell so in love with that. I was like, I want this in every game ever. Another reason why I loved Mass Effect. Not so much that you built a base, but you built a family. Your party really took over that role and kind of filled that role. I loved in Assassin's Creed, I think it was Assassin's Creed 2. Again, don't quote me, but Assassin's Creed 3, you come into it and that base you built gets attacked and fucked up, and you have to escape. And I was so pissed. I remember going into that, and I was like, "What the? I spent so long building this." But then you move on, you get to do some new stuff. God, I can't remember. Now it's gonna bug me which series it went in. Maybe I need to go through and do a whole nother playthrough of all of them on the channel.
Sounds logical.
That would take a lot of time. I don't know if I have that much time. I'm currently in the middle of a Stardew Valley Let's Play, and I'm realizing quickly that that's probably going to take
a while.
years. Yeah, I'm like, this might take a while because I'm making it through the game. I'm in summer already, but the problem is that I'm not like 100% progress. So like, you know, I made it to summer, but things are slow, and you know, there's a lot of stuff to do. So it's probably going to take me, you know, 5 years to do what I could do in 1 year, just because I'm not rushing, I'm stopping, I'm talking, you know.
Yeah.
So the Stardew Valley one's going to take me a long time, a long time. So, but I don't want people to get bored of it and be like, oh, all you're doing is Stardew Valley. So maybe I'll mix in some Assassin's Creed every now and then.
There you go.
We'll see. What were we talking about? Yeah, a little sprinkle. What got us on this topic?
We were talking about base building in TTRPGs, and
oh, yes, what we liked about 4 versus Valhalla. Yes, so the base building, they had base building in Valhalla. It just, I don't know, it wasn't done right. And I'm no game developer, I'm no pro, so I don't know how to do it right, but I know it didn't click with me.
Yep.
And I felt like there was even a thing to where, like, when Christmas time came, the whole thing got, like, your whole, like, hometown that you built got changed to this weird, like, super Christmas, like, I don't know. And, like, I was just walking around it going, what the fuck? Like,
what did
it
you
just
do
seemed like
to
a
my
giant
home?
Yeah, it just seemed like a giant gimmick. Yeah, what it seemed like. And I was like, all right, like, that's not not what I wanted.
Yeah, I can see that. I mean, that's one thing I did really appreciate about Black Flag was that, and I think that's the case with the Black Flag. You were building the thing that you were going to spend most of your time on, and you were contributing actively towards that. And then they had the customization on it to be able to make it look the way that you wanted to, like, see it in the game. That I think was something that they did really well there. And from what you're telling me, sounds like Valhalla, you don't do you do a whole lot in your village that you're building? In your huts?
I mean, granted, I haven't beat it, but from what I played, no. I mean, most of the game takes place outside of it.
In the open world. Yeah.
Which, granted, in 2, when I built up my villa, it did too, but that's also, you know, a game that's 15 years old, you know. It's like, back then, it was the first one I had played where I got to do that, and so it didn't matter. Like, every time I came back to that spot, I was like, oh, my home that I built, it's so cool. And it just felt so rewarding. Whereas I feel like now in Valhalla, it wasn't really rewarding. Like, I didn't feel fulfilled doing it. It was just kind of like, okay, I did it. Now I have a baker.
Woohoo!
Yeah. So that none of this is at all what I wanted to discuss on today's podcast. But I am curious. I mean, let's just change topics. Let's just screw it. Let's throw out all my notes that I had for this one, and let's go into this topic. So, the one thing that I would want from any RPG game, any RPG like tabletop, anything, is building a future. Whether that be building your team, building your home, building your mobile base, like anything that kind of builds that connection into the world. And I will lose myself in the immersion of it. If I'm in a game with Pickles and he's like, you come across this old, rundown, half a castle. It's pretty shitty, but I mean, its position's good, but there's no like defining kingdom here or army here, so no one's been working on it, no one needs this space anymore. I'd be like, I do.
We own a castle.
I was like, I don't even care. you could have a campaign plot that's like, oh, this is going to be 10 sessions from this to this. And I'm like, I found a castle. Prepare for 50 sessions of me building a castle. Like, I mean, you can make a million quests out of that. Like, okay, I need a stonemason because my pillar supports are not working. Like, they're gonna crumble, and I can't have that crumble. I need my wall structures. Like, people know that I'm building a castle here. People are gonna come try and raid it. I need walls, and I need a stonemason. Oh, perfect.
I need a ballista.
Yeah, I need a ballista. Oh god, I need to find an engineer. I need Arag. I need Nimwort. So there's quest, perfect. I would lose myself in an instant. That speaks to me on so many terms. And it hits both my desires. One, I get to build like this cool base. And granted, that's really hard to do in a TTRPG. Because you don't get the visuals like you do in a video game. If I'm in Black Flag, I get to see the cannons, like I said, come out of the portholes.
Yep.
In an RPG, I mean, it's just like Pickles.
And you now have 7 cannons.
Yeah, Pickles, tell me how my cannons came out of the portholes again, please. You know,
describe it to me one more time.
Yeah, it doesn't do it justice, which sucks. I mean, I wish I was just a millionaire and I had my own team of game developers and they could just develop King's Crossing as we describe it and be like, oh, now I get to like, oh, I get to go see Arwen's Rest. Like, that's so cool. Like that'd be awesome, but obviously I'm not, and that's not the case. So that's hard to do. I don't know if it would still scratch that itch, but it's still just the way I'm programmed. I want it. Like I desire that. So the first part is building my home, building my base, building this, you know, even if it's a mobile base, you know, caravan of, you know, oh, well, I've got these caravans. Well, this wagon I want to outfit with a ballista so that way I have like defense. This caravan I need like food rations and blankets and blah blah blah. I don't know. Play the Oregon Trail with it.
Oregon Trail game.
Oh, terrible. Everybody
Who's
gets
gonna
dysentery.
Fuck.
Yeah. The second part is building your team. So, hey, I need a stonemason. Now I get to go on a quest to connect with the stonemason and really get to know about that character and bring them in. And now I know Jonathan the stonemason. And I'm like, I know that guy. I've worked with him. We went on an adventure together. Like, I've got a good connection with him. Like, we're bonded. That kind of stuff. That's huge. And that's a good thing that's one thing that I feel like Assassin's Creed did back in the day. I don't know if they really still do it, but really connecting you and immersing you with the characters. Just, I mean, think of Black Flag. Like, those pirates, I knew every single one of those pirates by name. And like, if I heard one, I was like, oh, I know who that is. Or like, you know, you see one, you're like, oh, and like, you know, spoilers, but the game's like 20 years old, so get over it. The kid, I don't remember her name. Yeah. Now it's been forever, but the kid, yeah.
And something.
Anne
right?
Hathaway?
No,
that's not it. No.
Hang on.
Anne Frank, that's it. No.
Yeah.
Wow.
Journal something.
Yeah. No. So the kid, whatever her fucking name was. Like I see her and I'm like, oh, just wait. Big reveal later on. Like you get so attached and you know that things are exciting. It's awesome. And like those two things in a D&D game, your home and your family, I guess would be the cute way to say it.
Yeah.
Those are the things that make or break a game for not break, because a lot of games don't have it and it's okay. But like it would change a game from great to remarkable. Or in better terms, memorable.
Yeah. And that
was an inside joke between you and me, but I'll leave it at that. What about you? Inside joke. Leave it alone, chat.
Shush. Yeah, I mean, that's key to any sort of like game as far as like tying you to the characters and making you really like want to learn more about them. And I think that kind of ties back to one of our earlier discussions about like you have these people that are when you get too far outside of like building your core characters, you start to run into, all right, here's Joe at the woodshed out on the corner of the map and he has a quest for you, but you're never actually going to go and see that quest,
Yeah,
sort
yeah,
of
we
thing.
did talk about that.
But yeah, I think stories like that, stories where they keep you tied into something, whether that's a base, whether that's a person, those are the ones that really do create the feeling of I want to play this more, to see where this story leads, which is something that uh, new players would definitely need to like, you need to establish that for a new player as to like why you want to continue this story, and create that hook, so to speak.
Huh. That's an interesting one. I mean, I wouldn't have. I'll be honest. I probably wouldn't have ever thought of that specifically. Like, it's just kind of in the back of my mind, I guess. But I never would have thought of it specifically. But I don't see how I could do it without that either.
Mm-hmm.
I think you might have
Like,
nailed it on the head. Yeah, and that does bring us back to our original conversation. You know, you go out and
mm-hmm.
maybe. I mean, for instance, Joe, the woodcutter out in the middle of the woods, maybe he's a really important character.
Mm-hmm.
But like,
How are you going to introduce him?
yeah, like how and for instance, and I'm gonna loop this back to I've already spoiled this, so it's fine. In King's Crossing, you guys met Bjorn. You
Mm-hmm.
remember? Bjorn is a
Bjorn the
bear.
bear.
Yeah, he's a bear. And you guys met Bjorn. He is a druidic healer of sorts. The other group, Saga 1, featuring Grunkle, Wilfer, and Torvekic, they were just begging me. We need a healer! We need a healer! We need a healer! And I was like, I have one for you. You just haven't found him. I promise. There is one there. He's really close. I keep throwing him in front of you, but you guys haven't taken that hook. So, basically, like, there was 3 different times I showed them this, like, blood trail. Basically, remember when you guys were talking to Bjorn and he said that he found this, you guessed it, a moose, caught in a trap out in the swamp? Where that trap was, they found the trap. They found the blood trail leading towards this cave. But they were like, nah. And I was like, but that's where the healer is. No!
I put it right there.
Yeah, they're like, nah. I was like, I gave it to him like 3 times. I was like, come on.
You feel a healing aura coming from this direction.
Yeah. I kept trying to like lure them, or like, okay, maybe he's not up there anymore. Maybe he's out gathering some more resources to bring back, and so like they'll run into him. But they're like, no, we sprint away. And I was like, yeah. So sometimes it just doesn't happen. I tried.
Sometimes it
but
be like you do.
That's where I told the other group. I was like, Saga 2 found a character, found something. I was like, Saga 2 found something you guys need. And they're like, money? I was like, no. Never mind. No. Okay. If there was something you would say you don't need in an RPG, it doesn't have to be tabletop, but any RPG, if there was something you don't need, something that games and developers and all this, they'll throw in, you're just like, come on. What would it be?
I don't think this is as big of an issue for tabletop RPGs, but definitely for video game RPGs, kill quests. Go out and kill like this many of these animals, and collect their bones.
This is why I don't play MMOs.
Yeah.
And I think that's actually something Tough Nuts brought up. You and Tough Nuts brought up when I was talking about that. You guys were both like, "Yeah, we don't like those either."
Yeah, I mean, I've seen it done in some facets where it's like it's part of the story and you understand why you're going out to do this, and some games they'll try to make like some lore reason around it, like, oh, I need 10 caribou antlers to make this powder for this healing thing, and it really does get old very quickly.
I bet. I was thinking in King's Crossing I did something similar. Basically, what I used for Saga 1 for the first group is the town needs food. there is an influx of dangerous creatures in the area, and so the hunter hasn't been able to get as much food, and the town stocks are dwindling. No one else knows it, but he was getting a little worried and asked for help. So that happened in Saga 1. So they need to go out and get food, which is technically a kill quest, like go hunt, bring back food, right? But it was attached to another quest of, hey, while you're out there, try and investigate why all these dangerous creatures are getting closer to town. So it's kind of a two-parter, and really it was just to get them out, know that, okay, we can do some combat, like try out some combat fighting some of these animals, and we get to go on try and investigate. So I tried to mix it in and make it like an okay quest. The other part, they had a secondary quest to help with a brewing, which they had to go acquire 3 different materials that the brewer couldn't get their hands on. And so, hey, while you're out there, if you could find these, it would benefit us. Basically, you'll still be able to get the successful mission, but the basis of your success will be better if you can find these resources, right? I think they found 2. No, they only found 1. They only found 1 of the 3. And granted, it's because, once again, they were carried up and there was stuff going on. They were running from a dragon that someone brought over there and all this stuff. But that one is one where, yeah, it's hey, go gather these 3 items, bring back, right? But the idea is each of those items I put in areas where it would give clues to bigger things happening. Like one of the items would lead them to the healer. One of the items would give them clues as to some of the chaos stuff that you guys learned about. Yeah. And one of the items would give them some connection with the deities. And there was like something going on with that. And so while it was a fetch and gather quest kind of thing like that, it was to lead them towards bigger things. Like it was they were planted there specifically to, okay, I'm just on this fetch and gather quest, but oh, hey, there's this whole bigger thing I just discovered on accident while I was doing this. So I try and mix it in, but I absolutely agree. If they went to like Kyler, the hunt captain, he was just like, bring me 10 bear claws. They'd be like, why?
Show me your strength.
Yeah, to show me your strength, that you are true adventurers. Yeah, I just...
You probably kill Captain Kyler at that point.
I'm like, I personally like hate him now. I'm like, I don't want to even say that.
You want some strength? I'll show you some strength, eh?
Yeah. I don't need to prove nothing to you. I'm trying to think of mine. I think, and this one doesn't specifically relate. Well, okay, so I'm gonna bring one up, which I might even be at fault at now.
Now that you mention it,
not so much pay to win, but pay to look good. like
oh yeah,
like if I get into, this is a big one with Valhalla, with Ubisoft and all that, like
they've gone so far down that rabbit hole, it's not funny.
It's ridiculous. Like any Ubisoft game, they have an entire marketplace devoted to a hat. It's like, just give me the fucking hat, man. Like,
come on, man.
I would rather do a quest to get a hat than pay $9 to get a hat. Like,
and I think
that ties me into the game, or does exactly what I said. Like, give me a quest that leads me to this healer that I need to know about, and I get a hat.
There you go. Yeah, and I think that's one thing that big MMOs like World of Warcraft do pretty, or I should rephrase that, did pretty well.
Isn't it sad how we keep referring to some of our favorite game franchises and stuff? And we're like,
in the past tense,
they did this well. Like, things I loved about them.
In
the past. Go ahead, finish.
Yeah, so that was they used to have these like mounts and articles and like transmog gears that you would go and hunt out, and you would go and do the raid a couple times, as many times as you needed to get that mount. And once you got it, you had a status symbol of like this achievement that you made. Now some of the cooler stuff, or not even cooler, but just the more aesthetically pleasing stuff is mostly stuff that you can just buy through the Blizzard store and pay real money to look cool.
Yeah, I
sort of
think
thing.
that was last episode or something. Tough Nuts was talking about that, and even Tough Nuts brought that up. Absolutely, yeah, you guys did. You're like, you would
Yeah,
see someone with a mount, and you're like, I know what they went through to get that, or you would see it and you'd be
exactly.
like, whoa, they must have gone through some shit to get that. And now it's just like, yeah, I just paid $5.
Yeah, paid $5. I got this cool mount that changes colors in the sunlight. When that used to be something you would have to go do like a Mythic Plus raid and have spent like a whole entire month of planning with your
Yeah,
team just to go through and do.
exact, and that's memories, that's immersion into the game, that's connection with the
Mhm.
world. Like if I spent that much time to get this fucking mountain, now I can ride that mount around with pride, and I'm like, fuck yeah, like we
I
did this
did it.
shit. And then you just see like 20 people ride by on them, and you're like, oh,
Oh.
what? Yeah, that would
I
ruin it for me. Absolutely.
I will commend them for the fact that they haven't gone down the route of like making some of those things like you can buy them in the store. Like they are still exclusive to. Some of them are still exclusive to the content that they were originally a part of and the achievements that were originally with them. But I would say that they've started to devote more of their artists' time towards the stuff that you could just buy in the store, rather than the stuff that you could get at the end of a really hard raid or something like that.
Yeah, and that's just, it's unfortunate.
Mm-hmm.
And the reason why I say I might be falling prey to this is I am incorporating.
Are you about to start making us pay for every session?
No, no, no. I have done that before. If I put a lot of work into, this might be a topic for another time. If I put a lot of work into a system, and like I've been at this for a while, and like I have some skill and some, I have charged for games before,
Mm-hmm.
especially if it's for people I don't know,
Oh yeah.
or it's not for my own content. I will charge. Like if people want me to DM, I will charge, and I know other DMs who, granted, I think they're far better than me, and I know they charge as well. They charge for their own games, and like they'll
Mm-hmm.
develop their whole own game, and they'll be like, if you want to pay, or if you want to play, you need to pay. And usually, what it is I've seen people charge anywhere from $5 a month to $5 a session to, $15 a month, whatever the case may be. I know a lot of Twitch streamers. What they'll do is you can either pay $5 a month, or you can subscribe to their channel, and that just covers it because that's $5 a month as well.
Mm-hmm.
And so no, I'm not charging you guys. King's Crossing is my baby. I am so passionate about it. I'm just glad that I get to DM, honestly. Not only that, but this is a game that I've tried to DM for years,
Mm-hmm.
and is either never gone well or no one's ever wanted to play.
Mm-hmm.
And so I want to do a huge shout out real quick, middle of the session, to Mr. Pickles, Shifty Games, Fred. I don't know all his numbers. He's got a bunch of numbers. Fred, blah, 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 Adis, and Tough Nuts for being players in this game, because you guys have made it awesome. Like I've been having so much fun DMing it, and each week, a lot of times, like I'll get to a session and it'll be like the day of the session. I'm like, damn, I didn't prepare. I'm not feeling it. I'm not ready. Like, oh god, I'm just gonna say I'm sick or something. But even King's Crossing, like your guys' game for tomorrow, I haven't finished preparing. Like
Mm-hmm.
I like each week. Like granted, I have a framework and it's all already planned out, like the general scope of everything. But still, each week I like to go in and like tweak and add, and I'm like, ooh, Adarag's working on this. I want to add in some stuff that will lead him towards stuff later on that I'm like, oh, this is gonna be big. Like he's gonna get clues about this thing down here, and like, and it's fun for me. I'm having so much fun with it, and I think a huge part of that is because my players have been invested.
Mm-hmm.
My players have they're not sitting there on their phone the whole session. They're not showing up and been like, oh, what? There's a game today? Yeah, same time every single fucking week. Or, it's like, they've actually invested. And not only that, but I remember there was a session. I don't think it was the last session. I think it was the one before that. You guys showed up and you spent the whole like first. I think it was you specifically showed up and you spent the whole first hour, half hour of our session giving me a recap of basically every single fucking thing that has happened. I'm like, give me a quick summary. You're like, no.
No.
We're going deep. And I sat here and I was like, damn, he remembers more than I do. Like, that was crazy. It was great. I remember I even took notes because there was some stuff that I had missed, like that I didn't, because in a D&D game or any TTRPG game, as a DM, there's stuff that you ad-lib, there's stuff that you improvise. And I improvised a lot of the Emerald Enclave.
Yes.
Basically a lot of that entire first episode, because you guys went off on a total thing that I hadn't prepared for at all. Like I knew the Rockar Empire was out there. I knew they had a blockade, and I knew they had Corsairs. But beyond that, like I didn't have character names. I didn't have their actual fleet. Like I didn't have any of that. Like also with that, I didn't have the Emerald Enclave or any of that because I was just expecting you guys are at Arwen's Rest. How did you lose your ship? No, we're going in deep.
No.
I should know going forward. If I play with a D's, no. We're not taking the easy route.
We're not jumping to where we got to. We're going from the beginning.
Yeah, no. Let me tell you a story. Oh, okay. So yeah, I improvised the entire Emerald Enclave thing. Them picking you up, the characters, just the boat name.
Mm-hmm.
During your recap, you came back and you told me the boat name. You told me, I was like, oh, thank God you mentioned this because I didn't write it down. I was like, oh, yeah, I knew that too. Also,
yeah.
It was also good because little things like the Nimble Winch is still out there, and that is a real boat. It is a real thing. It's named. It's canon. I thought it was just going to be capsized on a rock or something. Nope, it is a real factor at play out there. And who knows? It might come back into play sometime. Yeah. Actually, I've already got it written, but that's for later news.
The Rockar fleet owes me a ship.
That's true. I was going somewhere with this thought, and I totally went off on a tangent. What were we talking about? Oh, the pay to play. Yeah,
pay to play.
So it's not even pay to play, really. It's just pay to look good. I don't know another way to say that. Like pay to be cool. I don't know what the
play to drip.
Play to drip. Oh, I don't. That's I don't know about that one. I mean, I know all about that one, but okay. So the thought here being, I am incorporating an entire. I just went through today and redesigned the entire Discord, the community Discord, ! Discord. If you're in the chat, you can go check it out. If you're on YouTube, there's a link in the down there. So you can go into the Discord, and I completely redesigned it, built it up, and there's now a store in the Discord where you can earn currency by playing games and doing stuff in the Discord. You can spend those on rewards for the stream, for the Discord, and I'm going to be adding in care packages that can be sent in King's Crossing. There could even be, I'm thinking I'm going to do a lot with it. And you being a player, maybe you can tell me a little bit about what your thoughts are on this. Say someone has just, they're working hard, they're earning money, they're killing it, in the Discord. I want them to be able to use that for something. And I was like, what if they contribute to one of the community's games? And maybe they're killing it, they make a ton of money in the Discord, and they become, we'll say, Adarag's sponsor. And you just have this mysterious sponsor who sends you a letter and is like, hey, I've heard about you. I've heard what you're trying to do. I've heard, I have some idea. I've postmarked a, address you can send mail back to. Let me know, things you need, things you're working on. Tell me about your adventures, and I will sponsor you. And you could just do that with someone in the community, and they're paying, and they'll be like, oh, I want to send him a care package of some, I don't know, a new disguise, an outfit that's this cool new outfit that will help him in at a gala ball where he could sneak in, or I want to send him some like explosives to get him through locks, and like you put it in, like a putty that you put into the lock, and then you step back, and like care packages that people could buy to hook up you in a TTRPG. So instead of you playing an RPG, we'll say Assassin's Creed, we'll say WoW, instead of you playing and buying a new hat, someone else is like working in the Discord, building their money, sending you a new hat. What are your thoughts? What are your thoughts on that?
I
Granted,
like this idea.
It could be more than the hat, but
yeah, I like this idea. I've seen it actually done on a couple of other. Well, actually, no, I haven't seen it done this way, but I've seen other podcasts and other Twitch streams where what they do is like they can pay donations to do certain things in the campaign, like kill a character.
I did that once. Not a good idea.
Yeah.
Not a good idea, because it happened. I was like, oh, it's so ridiculously priced. Nope, someone did it. And my character, I think it was my character that died. I can't remember. Pickles will remember it, because Pickles banned chat intervention in his games after that. He was like, nope, you're done.
We're not doing it. Yeah. Yeah, it didn't go well for this other podcast either. This guy lost his character 4 times in a week.
Oh, no. Yeah, especially if you're one of those big ones. Because, I mean, if you put it as an option, somebody's
going to do it.
I'm a tiny streamer now. I don't have a huge following. Someone will find a way. Someone will just pop in and be like, I've been lurking in every stream and I've made up this money and I'm killing this character. And you'll be like, I don't even know who you are.
Who are you people?
Why are you killing Adarag? No! Go ahead, finish your thought.
My sponsor sends me a time bomb in a package.
Yeah, you're like, wow, what's this one? Boom!
You are now grievously injured.
Yeah, that would suck. I don't think I would allow that.
No, but I do think it's an interesting theory as far as how to incorporate some community interaction into the storyline, and even just like with those interactions, it would certainly be able to kind of drive the story in some fashions. Like if you have a sponsor and they wanted to give Adarag an anonymous tip of where his boat might be, where the nimble wench might be along somewhere around there, then they could like give them a hint to the story with your blessing, of course. But yeah, that would be kind of something that would be run through you as far as like maybe they can get some hints to.
That would be interesting too, because if they watched the first saga, again, this is just for anyone listening. This is how I refer to my 2 different groups that are playing through it at the same time. One of them's first saga, one of them's second saga. Adarag and Nimwort are in the second saga. So say they're watching first saga and they learn something, like whatever they learn something from that group that you guys don't know. They could be like, when they send you your next care package, be like, by the way, my little birds told me this. And you're like, that would be interesting. That would be really interesting. I don't know how big I want to go with it, because like they could go big and like, have a bunch of money and become like a sponsor, or they could be really small and just be like, I want to buy them a drink at the tavern. Like when they're in the tavern, someone sends you a drink. It's from a mysterious stranger. Like, it could be that simple to where maybe you get a boost from this drink. Like, it's a good drink. Or, maybe it's poison. It's an attempt on your life. Oh, no. And then all of a sudden you meet... there's an NPC named Shifty. You're like, wait a second.
Hang on.
There's an NPC named Wrath. You're like, damn it, Wrath. Shucks.
Shifty. Your name is too... Shifty.
Shifty is also the guy playing Wilfer in the first saga, so if he was sending poison to the second saga. I don't know. I think it might be an interesting idea, and it helps incorporate the chat and get them into the game, because I don't know. I feel like my players are enjoying the game. I wish my chat would enjoy it more. The viewers on YouTube would enjoy it more. And Kira,
that might be something.
Kira, we can all see you.
Hi, Kira.
Crotch. You're nasty.
You're nasty.
Yeah, we all saw you.
Oh, you nasty.
Lay down. What were you saying? Sorry.
I was just thinking, yeah, that could be another uh, donation thing or like way to spend your money. Would be to have an NPC be created after, uh, like out of there, like they create an NPC that you introduce into the world.
Yeah, I was also thinking that. There's also there's the in Discord currency, the store, that kind of stuff. And then I was
Hmm.
thinking if because I'm Boobysoft in this case, and I need to make money. I got bills to pay.
Hmm.
So if somebody donates or subscribes and stuff like that, like they could earn some currency as well to spend on stuff, in the store. So that would be where, say, someone donates, they earn some money, and then one of the rewards that they could purchase isn't so much I send them a gift package, it's I get a character in the game.
Hmm.
I think that'd be really cool. You got to be really careful with that though, because if all of a sudden I mean I don't have this, but say 50 people all of a sudden I want characters. I'm like, whoa,
Hold on.
okay. You guys meet an army.
Hmm.
Every single one of them has names and a backstory, so prepare yourselves.
And they are all high level mages that can incredibly do magic in this unmagical world.
Yeah, or worse. They've all paid for characters. Grunkle's like, I eat them. I'm like, oh, all right. Your characters are all
Okay.
dead. Thanks for your money. um, I did that, and I was introducing Shifty to the game. He was playing a character named Wilfer. In the first saga, he was coming into the game. The other players knew that he was coming into the game. But I hadn't introduced this character yet. Grunkle and Torvekik, played by Pickles and Fred, respectively, are in the middle of this forest, the swamp, and out of the brushes, this creature comes out. They didn't know what it was at the time. It was a baby rhino, but they didn't know what it was. I just described it very loosely, and they're like, "What? What could it be?" And this baby rhino comes out of the brush, but it's big. It looks like kind of a beast, and
It's still a baby rhino.
yeah, they rolled poorly. They didn't know what it was, so they're like, and Grunkle attacked it. And so it comes stumbling out of the bushes. Grunkle's like, sword! So now there's a big old slash across it. And I joked, and I was like, all right. So once we finished the combat of him slashing it, and they rolled initiative and everything, I was like, all right. Shifty, introduce your character. And Pickles, you could just see his face just drop. He was like, no. He thought he just attacked Shifty's new character that he just brought into the game. Pickles was just like, oh, just so defeated. I felt so bad. Like, it was hilarious, but I felt so bad. I was like, no, I'm kidding. But that is just a baby rhino that Shifty just saved, and now you attacked it. But at least it's not Shifty. It was the whole thing.
Oh man.
Are you okay? What's
Yeah,
up?
she wants some attention.
Yeah. Do you need some love? You've been outside. I took you out right before we started. You've been fed.
Aw.
Oh, can you go lay down? Thanks. Sorry. Actually, I'm not sorry. Cure is important. I don't remember. Oh, we're talking about the store and the items. So you think that if done, I mean, if I could do this right, it would be a good idea?
I think so. I think it would be. I think it might add a little bit of. It might be able to help engage your audience a bit more.
I also
If they
thought
feel like they can have some
another,
impact on the story. Yeah.
yeah, absolutely. Another aspect to it was, say, for instance, Tough Nuts gets, I don't know, his wife to watch, and she donates and starts gifting his character all these packages. Adarag is going to be sitting over there watching Nimwort open up everyday Christmas presents, and Adarag's going to be like, what the fuck? Like, I need some friends. So then Adarag's going to go out into the real world and be like, hey, go watch the stream.
Watch the show. I donate.
Care packages too. And not necessarily that they need to donate, because obviously I don't want anyone to have to pay to engage and have fun. But just, being a part of the community, you're going to rack up some money, and then you can spend that on gifts. So over time, people could, all of a sudden, Adarag starts getting all these gifts, and Grunkle pops his head in the room and goes, hey, what the fuck? Like, why you get presents? Now, that way we start growing the community, more people start joining the Discord, and we all make more friends.
Yeah.
I don't know. I thought hopefully it would have a positive outlook. The other option is I implement this whole thing and then no one gets any presents ever and everyone just kind of feels bad.
Don't worry, I'll send out a company-wide email and we'll make it happen.
Could you imagine? Actually, you probably shouldn't because we've talked about Boeing here on this podcast, and I don't know if that's allowed or not. So.
I tried to not mention the name of the company, but yeah.
Editor, edit that out. I'm the editor. I'll forget. To be fair though, we've never said anything bad about them, so
no,
I hope
negative.
we're okay. I just know that they could literally take everything I own, and I couldn't do a thing about it. So please don't.
We're not going to turn this into a War Thunder chat lobby. Have you?
No, do tell.
Okay, so some of you may be familiar with.
We've been on side tangents this entire podcast.
The entire time, yes.
So go for it.
We're going. So War Thunder had this.
There's actually a couple of people in the Discord who were big War Thunder fans.
Yeah,
I tried it. I was basically the best at the game.
Yeah.
No.
It was so the issue was that somebody was getting mad about some of the in-game stats of this current. This is a little bit of an older one, but this happened twice, which is not good.
Not good.
Where they were up the first time, they were upset about the in-game stats of this tank that was in the War Thunder game, and to kind of shut somebody down on an online forum, they ended up going and they were like some internal person that had access to the internal documents, classified documents of this tank, and they posted them to a War Thunder forum. And
the person who was angry about it, or the person who was defending?
The person who was angry about the stats in game. They were like, I'm going to prove to you why the in-game stats are not correct, and here's all the classified documents that say why it's not correct.
Did they work for the company?
Or
did they illegally obtain?
I don't remember that part of the story, whether it was an employee, and I don't want to slander anybody, so
Okay.
I'll leave that out. But yeah. But then that happened, and then it happened again with with somebody talking about the F-15. I think it was F-15. It was F-15 or F-18. Effing. But,
so similar, they released
similar deal. On it? They released classified documents on a War Thunder post.
And I don't know much about War Thunder, the developers, or anything like that. Is that a big developer? I mean, War Thunder's popular.
Big.
It's a lot more popular than I thought it was. Because I mean, it's a free to play, isn't it?
Yeah, it's a free to play. So.
I just assumed it was like some small developer. They made this game like half-assed, and then like they were like, "Here you go, you guys can just like play it whenever." But it's fucking popular. Like it's big, if I remember. I mean, it's not like Battlefield or Battlefront. God, how long has it been? Is it Battlefield?
Yeah,
it's Battlefield.
Battlefield.
God, it's been a while. It's not like Battlefield big, like Call of Duty big, but it's big, isn't it?
Yeah, it's pretty big. It's their main draw is like their quote unquote accuracy to like real life like statistics,
which I'm all for. I'm a huge
some people but some people don't like that some of the stats were wrong, and they chose to divulge state secrets to prove it.
They went to war over that. They went to War Thunder over that.
Uh-huh.
And well, on that note,
Pickles.
Hello, Pickles.
It's me.
You're very quiet.
Yo, what are you, outside the window? Climb back inside.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, I'll climb back inside into the room that we're currently in. How's this? Is this better, or am I still outside the window?
You're better. Like at the door.
You stepped into the threshold.
Yeah.
Okay, so if you click on me, you probably put me down to like 20% volume.
Right. It was our fault. You're right. God, you sound like my ex-girlfriend.
Well.
Okay, I've turned my input up from. Don't. I'm just gonna move past that.
Self-burn. Thank you. Anyways, but yeah, I turned you up to 200%, so we should be good. Welcome in, Mr. Pickles. Mr. Pickles, you are someone. I know we've introduced ourselves on the podcast like a million times, but for anyone just tuning in, Mr. Pickles, you are someone who got me into the TTRPG scene. For better or worse.
Oh, sorry. I thought you were going to say more there. I was about to take a swig of water.
Nope,
yes,
that's all you've done.
That's all I've done. I was an inspiration, and then I quit. I retired.
And then you were done.
Hey, coaches don't play.
Hey,
And then I went out into the woods.
the woods.
Oh,
The woods?
Wow, you became the woods.
Wow.
Okay.
You
Now,
are the woods.
Is this another tough nut situation?
yeah, something's not right here.
Yeah, where he's like, here, look at this.
Disappears into the background.
Cool.
All right.
Something's profoundly wrong.
Yeah, whenever Tough Nuts comes on here and he has the background on and he goes to show us something, he goes to show us and it just blurs out everything and he becomes his background. And so he's just like, here, look. And you're like, wow. Neat. While Mr. Pickles gets his fixed, I'll talk about him. So Mr. Pickles is someone who has a lot of experience.
There he is.
A lot of experience in the TTRPG scene. Brought me into the TTR. I think of all of us, he has more experience in the TTRPG scene than both you and I combined.
Easily.
Well, I'm not like some ancient scholar. I'm probably had maybe 6 months of more experience than you.
He is the High Elder.
But no. I'm just some dude named Pickle.
Some dude named Pickle.
No, I played a lot of systems though.
This is where it cuts to and he shows like a wizard and just says Pickle over the top. Go ahead, you were saying.
Wizard. Anyways, yeah, so I played a lot of different systems, mostly because I can't settle on them. I have a lot of strong opinions on how systems work, so obviously I get really picky, and there's just a lot of things I find wrong with various systems. So I'm the grouch of this show. I have all the pessimism, all the cynicism. That's me.
But also, you know, the most experience. I don't think it's a bad thing to try many systems, and I've tried a lot of systems just because. Well, basically because I want to play with Pickles, and he jumps from system to system, which means I jump from system to system. But it's, you know, it's really helped me because I've gotten to try a lot of systems, and I'm okay with that. It's just like, you know, trying a bunch of different foods. You know, how do you know you don't like sushi if you've never had it? How do you know you don't like Italian if you've never had it? You know, I got to try sushi. I got to try Italian. I got to try, you know, Mexican. I got to enjoy them, actually. Mm-hmm. And that's a good thing about Pickles is even if it's a shitty system, I've had fun in his games. You know, granted, he might be like, you know, like, what was it, Pathfinder? We're like, we didn't like Pathfinder, the leveling up system, you know, the way you design your characters, so we moved on from it. But I still had fun playing the game, you know? So anyways, that's Pickles. Pickles, what's, you have, actually, I was going to say you don't have as much experience in the RPG game world, but I actually think you do. It's just a very different style, which is actually great. We've got 3 different styles going on here. He comes from an MMO world. You come from, I would say, like a retro RPG world. I mean, I call it bad graphics world, but people get offended by that.
Like old school RuneScape, or
no. Let's squash that one. I'm not retro. I don't know that many Final Fantasies. I only know the one with the gun blades in the card game.
But I'm talking like your point and click adventure games. Those are RPGs. I mean, I watched you as a police officer go on an adventure.
Yeah. Okay. Well, yeah. If you phrase it like that, then yeah, my RPG fandom would be like quaint, nice little point and click adventure games that are often gruesome somehow. But I mean,
you've had that. You've had Disgaea. You've had
I'm a PlayStation 2 era RPG kind of person.
That's what it is. Yeah, he's the one who got me into one of my favorite games.
I have that on my wall. I have all of my PlayStation 2 games on a rack on the wall next to me here. So I remember
if I remember right, don't correct me if I'm wrong because I'll be sad and embarrassed. Yeah, I borrowed that game from him and basically stole it from him because I fell in love with that game. And he had the guidebook for it. Like they used to have these
Yep.
guidebooks for games. I stole that from him. And that
The
thing,
Primus strategy guide.
I used it so much. That thing was falling apart. If I remember right, I felt bad because I stole his and I was like, I'm not giving this back. I want it. I went online. They don't make them anymore. It's an old game from. I found one and I bought it and I gave it back to you. Right?
Yeah, but you're missing like the crucial first part of that story. Is yeah, I played through it. It was okay. It had some really interesting parts, but I don't think I'm gonna finish it. Do you want to play it?
I thought you were talking about me. I was like, I said that.
No, that was my character.
Yeah.
I was the one who said that, and you were like, "Oh yeah," and I'm like, "Also, I have this strategy guide. It kind of helped in some parts, but then I got bored."
And then
I like the pictures.
It cuts to me, an old man, white beard, still playing the game. Because like, kind of, it's all right. And then I played it for 5 years straight. I still pull from that game for like inspiration, TTRPGs, that fucking boat. Oh my god! You want to talk about Assassin's? We were talking about Assassin's Creed Black Flag. You get to build this boat and like you invest in it and you get to sail on it. Oh my god! Suikoden 4. Woo! My boat was. It's just you invest in it. And you put so much work into it, and wow, full circle. We did good.
That's my boat.
This episode has been an episode of tangents, Mr. Pickle. We've just like
Mhm.
my original plan for this podcast was to come in here and talk about what is a TTRPG and why would anyone want to play it and like what does it even look like. We haven't touched on that at all. We went on so many tangents and this is just. But hey, it went full circle. There's order to this chaos. See Shifty, there's order. my one negative review on this podcast.
Hi, Shifty.
Hi, Shifty.
Hi, Shifty.
I invited him to join us, but he works during these, so he can't join. He was like, "Can you guys move it to another day?" I was like, "It's already hard enough to get everyone together for this day." Like, but Mr. Pickles, you're here. We don't know where Tough Nuts is.
Yeah, I sent him a text. I haven't gotten a response yet.
Okay, I was gonna message him, and then I got distracted. Pickles messaged me, and that's all I did. I looked at Mr. Pickles' message, and then I came back to the podcast.
I'll mute myself and give him a call.
Wait a second. Shifty's live on Twitch? What the fuck?
He's like, that's what he's at work.
He's like, I can't join your podcast. I'm at work. Goes live on Twitch. Okay, yeah. I hope you listen to this episode, Shifty. I see you.
I see you, Shifty.
Yeah.
All right, I'm muting.
You're gonna call him? No, don't mute. Let's all talk to him. Hi there.
Oh, no, he said he's a mutant.
He's
can't.
A mutant. Yeah, I'm also a mutant. Shout out to Ozlog. Let's talk about that if we're gonna get into. Are you still okay going forward with it if there's only two of us?
Yeah, I don't care.
Okay.
You're the Dan Harmon, and we have our Spencer. And,
I was gonna say Spencer.
And then the lady.
Yeah, I was gonna say Tough Nuts would be the lady, whatever her name is. She's like that driving force. His ex-wife,
Kathy
Bates. No,
it's not Kathy Griffin.
Kathy Griffin.
I'm gonna look it up because it's just gonna eat away at me.
While you do that, speaking of being a mutant, I play Ozlog in this little dirty miniseries, the Drinks and Discussions miniseries. Currently on episode 3, which I believe is the episode finale, the adventure finale for this one. DM'd by Mr. Pickles, I play Ozlog, the mutant. I'm co-hosted by, or co-starred by Adis, who plays, don't tell me, he plays, right, Adichie, the cursed. Our last one is Tough Nuts, who plays Peculiars, the chaotic, I guess would be the way to put that.
The Peculiar.
Yeah, what do we know about Peculiars? Is Peculiars dead or is he?
He's
indisposed.
There. Yeah, no,
I even.
You mean like peculiars?
Yeah,
No,
tough
I
nuts.
I would.
I thought you
I
were
would do
talking
a
about
voice.
I was like, I didn't actually. Wait, is he actually dead? Do we need to end the podcast? Like, hang
Is
on.
something wrong?
That's my cousin. Like, don't tell me he's dead on a podcast. That'll be the worst. You're like, yeah, actually, that was the cops.
No.
This podcast
No
title,
response.
R.I.P. Tough Nuts
R.I.P. Tough Nuts
and Dibs.
and Dibs.
We'll have they can share a funeral. No answer.
No answer. Yeah, I left him a voice message, but yeah, we'll see.
Fair enough.
Well-
Pickle says he's okay going along with the two of us if you're alright with it.
It's a pick up and play game. Beer
I mean-
and pretzels.
Beer and pretzels.
We can get up to whatever shenanigans. Yes, okay. Well, I guess if we're starting right now and not waiting till the half hour mark.
Are we not at it? Oh, we got like 7 minutes. My
7
bad.
minutes.
Well, you cut off a part of this is normally I show up and you tell me what you guys have been talking about, and then you give me like just some unknown amount of time that's less than 10 minutes where I respond.
Yeah, let's. I mean,
Let's do it.
Can we
I'm
talk
joking.
about everything we've talked about? What have we talked about? Oh,
Ooh.
no. Basically, the big question of this one was, there was two. The first one is, what is one thing that really stands out to you that you would prefer to be in an RPG or TTRPG? Some feature, and I'll give you a couple examples. Mine was the connection to the game, the immersion, that being specifically base building / home building, or family building / team building. So building the ship, which I've referenced a couple times, building the crew in like Mass Effect, in Suikoden, huge features for me and really connected me into the game, immersed me into the game, invested me in the game, and I was like, this is my, like, if something happened to, granted it's been forever since I played Suikoden 4, I think I just found my next Let's Play I'm going to do on the channel. We're going back through Suikoden! Actually,
Let's do it again!
Suikoden 1 and 2 are being remade and being released on Steam soon. I've got them on my wish list, so maybe I'll go through a full playthrough of all of them. But say I'm in Suikoden 4 and something happens to, granted, I don't remember everyone's names anymore, but there was a kid who drove the rowboat. If something happened to that kid, I would be devastated. I'd be like, oh, that's my team. Like I went through the maze with that kid. Like I have history with that. Like I'm connected to the world and I'm immersed in it and I'm invested in it. If a game can get me like that, I'm sold. Like it takes it from a great game to a spectacular game. Like that'll make it break it for me. Adise, what was yours again?
Mine.
This was the pro, the thing you want.
The thing I want in a game. Yeah.
I remember your
I think-
don't want.
Yeah. I think mine was mainly that hook, like we were talking about. Like, you have to have something to tie you into that. I think I was just mainly agreeing. Like, you need to have some sort of hook on that story, whether it's a character or a location. But being able to identify with that item and be able to, and having that item be the thing that drives the story along in a direction. So, from a storytelling standpoint of like looking at like Assassin's Creed Black Flag, you're spending most of your time on this jackdaw, so you're putting and investing time into making it better so that you can drive that story forward and make it as good as it can be for you to progress and also keep you engaged with the storyline.
Yeah, so instead of just, hey, go get me this, you're like,
Yeah.
hey, my name's so and so, this is my story. Like, get invested. That's
Mhm.
100%. So Pickles, what would be something that a feature, some kind of concept in a game that you not necessarily require in an RPG or TTRPG, but just something that would make the game for you, like a defining feature for you?
That's difficult because I've been thinking about it since you first asked the question. It just there's so many different things I want, but they're all not literal concepts. They're all abstract things. Like I like I like games where I can play a character that has low responsibility but high impact on the group, like Science Officer in Pulsar, or perhaps a healer in Mithras on Saturdays, 11 to 2 Pacific Standard Time.
Fun
Um,
fact on our Pulsar, I uploaded those videos to YouTube 2 years ago when we played, and then I got off YouTube, didn't get back on. I got on YouTube about a month ago to start uploading all my videos again. That series did so well on there. Like, it had people commenting, like people were like discussing the game, and it blew up. I was like, what the fuck? My favorite comment on there was from 2 years ago. It says 2 years ago. It's like, this game's about to go big. It still hasn't gone big.
That's a good joke.
Yeah. I kind of wanted to save that like 2 years ago and then show like a screenshot of the game where their newest update was like, we added a different brown color to our brown colors.
It's wildly pessimistic and
That's
accurate.
pretty accurate to what their updates are. It's wonderful. Anyways, all right, go on.
But yeah, it's like, so I like a concept for if I can play a specific role in the group where I'm able to help, but I'm not in the front lines, like a healer often is. That makes a game fun for me. And then in my process was then like, oh, I just like a fun game, right? And it's like a fun game should be rewarding, like moving forward. If you take a step back, it's after taking 5 steps forward instead of 1 step forward, 1 step back.
I know that was a dig on me for getting you caught in a mud pit.
No, no. Well,
Granted,
you're
they
good at
almost drowned in the
cliffhangers.
ocean, so.
But a sense of progress while maintaining a sense of danger, like, isn't really. That's not what you guys are going for with your concepts here. These are all abstract things rather than literal things.
Abstract's perfectly fine. It's just kind of the first thing we went to. No, I like your first one. I can relate to that. I get that. And that even reminds me of Across the Obelisk, a game we attempted to play one time, and it went terribly.
I loved it so much.
No, you complained the whole time, and I didn't realize.
Yeah.
I thought everyone else was enjoying it. I couldn't hear Pickles complaining about it the whole time over my own complaints the whole time. But we were complaining for different reasons. I was complaining because everything was going so fast. It was all happening at once. I didn't understand anything. Like, I didn't understand anything that was happening. Your complaint was you were playing the fighter, and you're like, I hate this, basically.
Oh yeah, I remember now. Well, because nobody was explaining what they were doing, and I remember at the time, like, I was fresh into a bunch of different games like that. So they're like, oh, you have this much energy for your cards, and you have these cards, and they have the cost. I'm like, okay, well, so I have to prioritize what cards I'm using. Great. As the fighter, I have attack, guard, attack. They all cost 1. It's like, this is exciting. I hate the early game fighter like that. But
then it's just pew, 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 and I'm sitting there going, what just happened? I don't understand anything. Why? What?
Yeah. So I wasn't really teaching you. And I remember there was a moment where you were like, I said something, and you're like, well, oh, yeah, obviously. Yeah, that's just how it works. And I was like,
I think
okay.
You were just like, well, obviously I did this. And I was like, yeah, obviously.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
But I think that goes into your point of we put you on the front lines as the fighter. That's not what you enjoy in a game.
Yes, that is. Yeah. And just to clarify, your later issue then was as you started to understand the rules and the fine points of the game, everybody else was checked out and just like, we're done. No, don't care about resistance.
Yeah.
And you're like, but that's actually like a big part of why we're doing so terribly, guys.
Yeah, by the time I started to grasp what was happening in the game, I was like, oh, this could actually be kind of cool if we built ourselves up the right way. You're like, yeah, we quit. I was like, oh. Well,
Well, screw me, I guess.
Yeah, basically. And what sucked is even my chat was like, yeah, play more Across the Obelisk. I was like, chat, I'm going to be honest. I don't think that's going to happen.
Maybe at some point. But yeah, you are right. Is being the tank is my least favorite thing ever.
So, well, you might have just answered my question, but something that you really want in a game is the ability... I guess just the ability to have a good team so that you can play a support role. Is that somewhat accurate?
Yeah, like the team is kind of another tangent I went off of, like when you were explaining the situation question.
Mhm.
It's like, yeah, well, this all depends on having a good team because you can be the best science officer, and if everybody's just like shooting each other with fire extinguishers, gonna have a bad time. Um, and so it's like, yeah, so obviously I would a good part of a game would be having a good team. So if we can order
Oh
that, is that
my
on the menu?
god. Yes, never let any game have fire extinguishers ever. Pulsar, you fuck.
Pour one out for Pulsar.
Ah. What's
Liar's
funny
Tags,
is we
though,
probably
that's
have one of
genius.
the biggest. I mean, I don't quote me, but like we probably have one of the biggest Pulsar videos on YouTube. One, not because we're great, just because no one else wanted to play that game and record it and upload it.
Some people like it, and some people just kept laughing about Smuggle Buddies.
Smuggle Buddies was funny. I thought that was we were playing smugglers, and instead of snuggle buddies, we were smuggle buddies. Pickles came up with that.
Yeah.
I thought that was
Well, I
pretty
mean,
funny.
that's obvious that I came up with that.
Okay, so we talked about something that a feature you want in a game. What about a feature that you're just like, please don't put this in any more games besides fire extinguishers? What would be features that you would be like, don't put these in any? Mine was the pay to look good. Like having to spend real money just to get a fucking hat, and I'm like, I really think my character would look good in this hat, but I don't want to spend fucking real money to get it. Like, have me go do a quest and earn this hat. I don't even care if it's just a hat that I earn. I will go do this quest, but no, I have to pay real money. Or I think we kind of agreed on this one too. Yours was
I was Guild Quests.
Oh, that's right. Yours was Guild Quest. On my point, like, I could go on a quest to, I go on this epic quest to get this mount, and it's this really cool mount. I worked really hard for it. I went on this really hard quest. I got it, and then I just see 20 guys go riding by on the exact same mount because they paid $5.
Oh yeah, yep.
Yeah, you're just like, yeah, great. It just takes all the reward out of it. Like, I don't know. That would be mine. Like, stop putting that in games, and I know they're not going to because people do it and they make money off it. Which has brought me to my point where I was like, I'm about to do it, but hopefully in a better way that it doesn't come out negatively. And we'll talk about that later, Pickles. But his was Kill Quest, like the go fetch 10 tails. Thanks. Go fetch 10 more.
Prove your strength by showing me that you can defeat 12 chipmunks.
12 blank.
Oh, yeah, like, we are 3 orphans on the street because our father has been taken by bandits.
Whoa, are you shitting on Fable right now?
No, I'm
shitting on his own game.
Yeah. The
The
Happy Meadow
orphans
time.
that
The
came
3
out.
kids are
Oh!
like, "Come save our dad."
Yeah.
Bandits.
Okay.
And you guys are like, "Oh, Pickles doesn't know fantasy, does he?"
Oh, that's funny. I thought of Fable where you're in the city and you're with your sister, and I was like,
well,
whoa, my sister died. Okay, don't shit on. You are not allowed to shit on
maybe all
Fable
great
ever.
fantasy has like a little bandit scene to start it off. Who knows?
It really does.
Not
I think
me.
every
I
Fable
don't.
has a bandit scene to start off. Actually.
Yeah, well, that's
So a feature that you are sick of, or you don't think it's necessary, or don't want it.
I don't want it. Like I launch a game and it's like you have to play the main character who we've already named and given voice lines. I guess is my
That was
narcissistic pet peeve. I like making my own characters. Don't like put me in a box.
That was one I thought of. I didn't mention it, but that is one I thought of, and I think we talked about that on previous episodes too.
Yeah.
A perfect example, and I don't know if either of you would have played this. There's a game. Oh fuck. Kingdom Come Deliverance.
Oh, it's been on my wish list for a while, but I never actually have like put any effort towards.
Great game, great concept. It worked for what they were going for. It worked perfectly. The one problem, you got put in there as whatever character they generated you as, and you were a stupid little bitch. I was like, I hate me. Like, my character sucks. I don't want to play this game. And I never ended up beating it. I mean, yeah, it was a fun game and it was great, but I didn't like my character and it ruined the game for me.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I've had that with a couple of ones. Assassin's Creed is another one where you always have to play the character they made you, and I'm like, it's a great game, but man, it would be so much better if I could just customize. I don't know why you can't. There's literally no reason why you can't.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I mean, from my perspective, I'm not a game developer. There might be like, $10,000 worth of reasons why you can't, but I don't know.
I mean, yeah, once you have voice lines in, then it becomes more problematic. But it's not like, Saints Row did that or anything.
But I mean, voice lines. Like, I mean, if we all close our eyes, like I could be talking and Tough Nuts could be moving his mouth, and viewers would just be like, okay, like.
No, they wouldn't believe it. They wouldn't believe it.
Okay,
I'm sorry.
maybe not Tough. Maybe it is.
Tough Nuts is very, very specific.
He's very unique. Yes, this is
Yeah.
true. You know who's
They
not?
need a beard.
Tough Nuts is very memorable. Tough Nuts, welcome in. I hope you know I'm just joking.
Yeah,
okay. I joked about myself too.
Yeah, no, we're all here. We're all here to take shots.
Yeah. Cheers.
Yeah, and I spit on my own game.
I spit on. Tough Nuts is here. Yay! Tough Nuts is my cousin. We were talking about him earlier. He's not dead, as you can see. And he comes from. He's actually very similar to Adis. Has a lot of experience in the MMO world. Newer to the TTRPG world. Besides MMOs and TTRPGs, what? Are you big in gaming? Like, what else do you play?
I used to be. I don't really have time anymore.
Oh, yeah, that's probably.
I used to do shooters. I was pretty big in CS:GO. I got up to DMG. Yeah, back in the day. Long time ago, I played some League, but it's been 10 years since I've done that. And then trying to think what else. Some of those like base building survival games, like Rust, like original Rust, I was really into.
Ark.
Or Ark, yeah, is a big one. There's a handful of those.
Yep. Ark took a huge portion of my soul. So that's Tough Nuts. Welcome in, gents. What do you guys got to drink? The usual. Let me guess. Pepsi, water. Am I close?
Yeah, except they're both empty, so I need to go get more.
Oh, yeah, both Pepsi and water. Pickles, you get nothing. He took both.
Be right back.
Keystone Light.
Okay. Oh, where did it go?
Yeah. Oh,
it's a Keystone.
It's a Keystone, isn't it? It's no longer. It used to be Rolling Rock. It's no longer Rolling Rock. It's
a Coors.
Coors? Really?
I literally buy whatever is cheapest.
Well,
Oh.
yeah.
I don't have any brand loyalty. It's whatever is cheapest.
Sad.
If I can go home and be like, wow, 25 cents a can.
We won't
Who's
get
paying
political,
$5 at the pub?
Yeah, Coors is. Who's paying $5? Let's go.
Well, I mean, like, because you get like the similar amount for like a
efficiency.
Yeah.
I have been trying to think of this word. I have used it in like 14 different sentences in the last like 2 weeks. Efficiency. And I have not been able to think of the word, and the only thing I could think of is satisfactory. I was like, it's in satisfactory. It's a thing. What is the word? It's efficiency. Sorry, it just came to me. I tried to say it earlier, and I couldn't think of the word. Efficiency. That's the word of the day.
What have you been saying in lieu of knowing the word?
I'm like, it's really good at doing the thing that is to do. It's basically, I'm like, it does the thing that it needs to do well.
It does it goodly.
Yeah, it was aggravating me. Efficiency. Yep. And the only thing I could think of is satisfactory. Come on, it's in satisfactory. It's the thing. Anyways, we're here. We're back. I talked about our characters. That leaves us with Mr. Pickles. Did I buy you enough time?
No.
So let's talk satisfactory.
No, I'm kidding.
On another tangent.
Introduce a character.
Yeah. I already introduced all the characters.
Tough Nuts, introduce your person.
We already did that too.
Well, I mean, that was the weirdest intro for characters, in the sense that Tough Nuts wasn't here to introduce his character, and so you got sparse details.
Yeah, this episode I just kind of introduced everyone. I talked about Adis, he does this. Pickles, he does this. Tough Nuts, he does this. And then with characters, I did the same thing. I just feel like, if somebody's watching this podcast or listening to this podcast back to back, we introduce ourselves every single time. They're probably like, okay, we know.
Then let's dive right on into it. I think you had the right idea. If everybody's ready, if you have your dice, if you have your piece of paper, yeah, make sure you have your dice, your piece of paper, and pencil
And what?
or crayon. That's the only two choices: pencil or crayon. If you have a pen, throw it away. No, I'm kidding. Don't throw. Okay, why do you pens? You can't erase pen.
Whatever
This is
the
like
DM says.
I'm sorry.
Well, no. You should never just trust the DM implicitly.
I threw it away already. It's too late.
I threw mine
Okay,
too, but
well-
that was all I had.
John, I've burned every pen in the house.
I don't have another
Boiled their
pencil.
blood.
Okay, I'm pulling up Notepad because I don't have another pen.
Okay, well, okay. No, you can use pens. We'll
It's
amend this.
over
You
there.
can
It's
you
gone.
can now use pens, but only if they're red ink.
I don't have that either.
Anyways, so we're returning to this. This test run of a little system. I wanted to make something that would be really, really efficient that we could just pick up, and I wouldn't really have to think too hard as the storyteller. Simple notes, simple story, run by you guys in a sense, where you're improvising your characters through these scenes, where our roles are very simple and vague, so that we can paint this spectrum of what we want to do. I did want to note that I didn't really like how conflict was satisfied last session. And since this is a system that I'm sort of making up on the fly, stolen from Savage Worlds, made simple, called Savage Pickles, I guess. I didn't like that we had two roles for every conflict. Like somebody does their role to oppose you, and then you do a roll to actually see if you hit, and then it can be wildly different results and numbers to be opposing and trying to get 4 above. So I decided just to simplify and have it be every time you roll, it'll just be like a penalty or
Success.
bonus. That's the word I'm looking for. Penalty or bonus to your roll that represents how good or how bad they are at something. So a peasant that doesn't know how to use a sword, given a sword to fight you off, is probably going to be a +0. They don't really have any armor or anything. And if we make them drunk, it's probably going to be a -2. Well, I should say a +2. Because it would make your attack roll easier if they're drunk. And if they were manacled at the feet, that'd probably make it a +40 or roll. Very, very easy to hit, and you're likely to do damage. But if you give them armor, it'll be a penalty on your roll, stuff like that. So rather than having 2 rolls, we're just going to have be the roll of the person doing the action. And leave it at that and see how the story brings us. And oh my gosh, we come back to this delightful little setting of happy little town called Happy Meadow, built into the woods. So there's various fields that are interspersed between these trees and everything. It's mostly wooded. There's active lumber mills going, and a lot of the products in town are made of wood. And if they're not, it's likely made of wool because there's a lot of sheep herds that get sheep herded around. It's that kind of town. Very small, very happy. It's got a decent population, and the apple harvest festival is coming up because that's the third part of the economy. Apples. Yeah, we're getting more apples, and everybody's getting excited about that in this town because it's a small town. It loves its festivals, and everybody's excited and competitive, except for, well, a father, I guess, that disappeared because bandits took him, and the dog. You guys helped these 3 orphans that told you about this sad tale, because why not? And as we went further, I did question the why part of like, so why? As you investigate the situation, you find the bandits and butcher them. You find a goblin they held captive as sort of their slave-like character that was working for them, but not really permitted to leave and isn't paid and is tied up to be abused. You guys sacrificed him to a dark god. You saved the dog, though. You did save the dog. And we ended last session with you saving only the dog. to head to another location, because the information you'd gotten from one bandit and that goblin before you crushed their skull and sliced them up for a demon god, was that their bandit squad is on the other side of town. So you can't just, or they couldn't just travel straight back through the town, like towards their destination. They'd have to go around to get to their destination. You have a general idea of where that would probably be, or where you'd start searching at least. If only you guys had a survivalist in the group. But yeah, that's basically what you knew, besides that they're gathering apples for a reason, I think you found out.
Yep.
Somebody's making
apple caster.
We found that there was we remembered that there was a cart of apples that went past heading towards the waterfall, heading past my tinkerer's shop, just as we were heading out to go and find these bandits.
Yes, there's been apples being stolen, and merchants are kind of getting irritable about it. I should say farmers are getting irritable. Merchants are, well, they're buying what they can.
Supply and demand.
Pickles, I missed a detail. So we're on one side of the town. What's on the other side of the town?
Where the bigger bandit camp is located. Like, these guys were going back to the base camp.
Yeah, this is just like a scouting party or something.
Yeah,
okay.
It's a small raiding party. So there's more of them at another location, with presumably an apple caster making some sort of apple thing. Apple teeny sounds wrong, but I would like one, please.
And how do our characters know of this camp? Just
because
common
of
knowledge?
the bandit and the goblin that you interrogated and then sacrificed.
Okay.
And...
Yeah, the goblin you murdered.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was
Peculiar's.
he was like,
Yeah,
Peculiar's murdered. The goblin was like, "Here, I can help you. Let me tell you all this information." And he was like, "Thanks." Zap.
It was
Adichie.
Yeah, he used his special ball attack to summon blades that chopped him up and pulled him down into a portal.
I remember I had a bandit.
I just made bread, man.
No,
you did make a loaf of bread.
You boiled the guy alive.
Well, he was a bad guy.
No. Let's focus on his real feat of power. The bread.
The bread, guys.
Bread.
I ate that bread. It was great.
And he boiled water. That's just a meal.
Water. Yeah, bread and water. Yeah, it was for the
I was
prisoners that we
hungry.
didn't-
As I remember, it was blood that he boiled.
Well, water is water in the end.
Hey, Tryson's here. Hey, Tryson. Yeah, because I remember I was like, hey, we have the goblin, and I had an extra bandit, and I was like, oh, are we taking these guys prisoners? And you're like, nope, zap. I was like, oh. And I started looking around at the camp of, this guy was set on fire, that guy was boiled alive, that guy got eviscerated by blades. And I was like, okay. Just crushed this other guy's head. I was like, all right.
And you found that there was a foot because somebody got incinerated.
Yes.
We found that there was a foot?
Well, I mean, if you looked around, there's an incinerated body where only a foot is remaining.
Oh, right. Yeah.
So there's a foot.
That's what heroes do.
Yeah. Welcome to Happy Meadow.
We're a bunch of murder hobos.
This makes me think of, wasn't there like a cartoon called like Happy Fields or something like that, where it was the most
Happy Tree Friends.
Yeah, that's what this makes me think of.
Well,
anyways, this is a light fantasy game where heroes can be heroes. We're returning back with a simple system. I should probably have dice, shouldn't I? Didn't even follow my first word. Okay, I've got dice.
Yes, sir.
Don't panic. Go panic.
Peculiar is what you say.
Well, I'm not the leader. I'm not the leader here, but if we want to truly deal with this issue and help the town, I feel like we should probably go to the source of the problem. I don't know. What say you, Adichie?
Yes, I believe that would be a good plan. We need to go to the waterfall, it sounds like, is the next point for this adventure.
I think I know the way. I could lead us through the forest and get us there quicker if you'd like.
Is there a way that you might be able to also get us to have the drop on them?
I can do my best, and trusty Apollo here at my side can help with that too.
That would be much appreciated.
Peculiars, I'm going to need you to roll one of your dice here for me.
Okay.
I'm really sorry. Can you roll your social awkward for me?
Actually, two of your dice.
Yes, I can. So a D4 and a D6.
Yeah. Always add the wild die because you want to spite me.
I got a 4 on the wild and a 1 on the D6.
Take the one.
Fine, a 4 is good enough.
You explode.
Nothing happens.
Well, no, doesn't his dice explode?
Oh wait,
No, it was a D6. He got a 4.
Oh, we got a 4 on the D6?
Yeah.
Sorry,
Yeah, on
4
the-
on the D4, 1 on the D6.
Yeah.
Oh,
so
Oh,
it's
okay, I got that backwards. I
Yeah.
heard it backwards. Yeah, okay, so
I
4
heard it
roll
backwards,
again.
too. Well done.
Okay. Maybe I said it backwards. I don't know.
You're exploding.
That's all good.
And then
it
a
really
3.
does explode. I thought you were just joking.
Okay,
like,
so
he
7.
blows up.
Okay, so you can sense that your body wants to shift to a new form, which is sort of an awkward thing when you're about
Puberty's
to
a
lead
bitch.
people. And you feel a fiery sensation as you're beginning to lead. But because you succeeded, and by more than just 4, I'm going to say you can choose to stay as a water genasi, or you can pick one of the other 3 elements to take the form of. But you are limited to the simple 4 elements
Does
with
he
that
get
roll.
to choose, or is it chaotic?
Yes, you get to choose at this moment if you wish to change to a new form, or if you'd like to stay watery.
Okay. I'm going to this is it's like being naked in front of people for me. Like I
I'm
don't.
staring so
It's
hard.
really awkward.
Yeah. So I'm going to
I'm
just
in a conversation with you.
I'm all of a sudden I'm just going to stop talking and just blush, and then I'm going to run
Transform.
behind a bush and change forms. And I'm actually going to let you just pick what happens.
You think he's farting? I think he
I
might
think
be
he had to
farting.
take. I think he may need to take a piece.
Maybe he's not used to all this. Turn around, just look at the eviscerated bodies.
Yes,
Your
that
form
also could be the case.
I'm not used to this either, to be honest.
Your form shifts to that of mud,
What?
an earthy sediment that can move rather slowly, but you have more weight to your flesh. You feel heavier. You feel embarrassed, and behind the tree, you know that this is going to be a very socially awkward moment as you are just about to lead the squad to victory.
And we just said he went off to take a shit. Now he's coming back dressed as shit. I'm curious. Have we ever seen him shapeshift before, or have we only seen him as the water?
I probably haven't.
That's a question for you.
I'd say Aslog has, because he's been coming to my hut and I've been doing magic stuff with him. But
Touche.
it's probably new to Adichie.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I'll probably be like, he does this every once in a while. He runs away, and then he changes outfits, and he comes back, and he goes, "Ta-da! I'm a new person now." I don't really get it, but he's really powerful, so he can be a little weird. It's okay.
Well, it's okay, Aslog. Some people, they have their morning wear, their evening wear, and their night wear.
Oh shit! So he's fancy.
I think he might be fancy.
I walk out behind the bush. I walk out and I'm mostly mud, but you see these little rocks stabbing out of the mud in random places.
I bow.
And my steps are just heavy, they're louder than normal.
I pull a green orb out of my belt. Who are you?
No, it's me.
I'm mid.
Don't worry, it's just Peculiar's. Apollo's at my side and he just leans up against me, rubs his back on the rocks.
This is the fancy thing.
I thought you were talking about clothing. He changed in forms entirely. He's an entirely different being.
I think
Listen.
he's naked all the time. This is the closest he gets to wearing clothes.
Adichie, remember how I tried to help in combat and I made bread?
Yeah, remember when we made bread? That was cool. Let's reminisce
same,
on that.
Same issue here. Same
Remember,
issue.
it was
I'm
really
trying
useful?
I'm trying to figure out why this happens to me too. I don't have answers for you.
Adichie slowly puts his orb back onto his belt.
Well, we should probably be off. I don't want to linger on this any longer.
Understandable. I'm starting to wrap my head around this. Are you still able to lead the way?
I just start walking in a direction and just kind of hang my head, shaking.
I walk a lot faster than him, as I hear he's slow now, if I remember right.
It's more that he has a lot more weight to his step. It's not necessarily. Well, actually, I should ask you: Are you slower when you're in your Earth form?
I don't think I'm slower, but I think I am like less stealthy. Like I'm just solid now.
Well, what is happening as you guys are progressing? I'm assuming you're all traveling together, because why would you want to stay here at a massacre longer? Especially since most of the evidence is cleaned up. Some, a little bit. You're progressing towards the bandit camp, and you'll have a choice in a moment. But what's happening, and everybody can see this, and peculiars, of course, you can feel this. Since you're at the front of the line, you can sense that like the mud is changing more to a dirt texture as you walk further, and small plants seem to grow like just instinctively, and it kind of looks like you're getting hair almost as little bits of moss start to spread, little flowers grow. It seems to everybody around you that whatever soil you're made of is growing effectively. You do well in a garden. That's
very
worthless
fertile, isn't
knowledge,
he?
though.
Would my character know, like, was it mud because I was water genocity and it's like transferring to a more dry dirt?
Yes, that would probably be a likely theory.
Okay. Yeah.
All of your transitions have a little bit of that middle ground between the elements.
Yeah, that was kind of cool. All right.
So you're progressing, and so you're looking less like mud and
I sniff
more
the
like
flower.
some like troll monster covered in dirt, like that you're trying to be disguised as forest, which is not a race.
Okay.
But
Yeah, it's like a
um,
ghillie suit, but not like good leaves and stuff. It's like flowers and shit.
yeah, well, I mean, it would be decent if you laid down and were still for a long period. You might be stealthy. It's just
Okay.
movement would look very
Nimward-
weird and
Nimward would
unsettling.
scoff at this.
So
Oh.
my question now is: Are you guys going through town, the more direct route, or are you going around town for some reason?
Side question.
Okay.
Would I see any sorts of like medicinal herbs growing out of our new mud genasi friend?
Another question: how is Gamora?
How is what?
I'm glad you laughed at that.
I like this good.
It's from Marvel.
Okay.
Nothing. Never mind.
Is that the character that would have this ability?
I'm gonna go hide behind a tree now.
Okay.
Why is Gamora?
Thank you. Yeah, I was. Was it not how is Gamora? Did I fuck that up too? I think it is why.
No, it's just I don't know. Move on, Pickles.
Yeah.
Shut him up, Pickles. Keep going.
If you would like to have medicinal herbs growing incidentally from your earth, for peculiars, you can roll your wild magic. If you want to say there aren't any,
Don't
you
short
don't
the
have to roll.
flower.
I mean, I don't think I would just try to do that if he's just like inspecting my body.
And he's probably inspecting from the back of the line, so
Yeah, I look behind me and notice, and I was like, "Keep your eyes off me. It's embarrassing."
My eyes are up here.
yeah, I'm gonna say then you're growing more like vines off your back, like a cloak or something ish
Okay.
looking
Yeah.
to like represent your stop it.
I start
and
pulling on a vine.
to-
Ow! Stop it.
To answer your question, Pickles, I'm leading us around the town just because I'm more embarrassed when I'm in this form. Like I just feel less confident, and I
That's
don't
fair.
want social interactions. So I didn't even ask. I'm just going around.
All right. Well, you are leading, so go ahead and roll your survivalist skill. You're confident with these woods, so add a +2 modifier to this.
So both dice.
Yes, each one should get the bonus.
So they were both 6. So
So one of those explodes.
yeah. Okay.
Because
D6.
you rolled a 6, right? And then you're adding a 2 for an 8. Or
Yeah. So both rolled a 6.
okay, yeah. So for the D6 that rolled a 6, roll again.
Okay.
6
A
and
5.
5, 11, and plus the 2 is a 13. Okay, so you know these tracks really, really well. You know, once you start going down the paths, you make it around town. It takes you guys a big portion of the day. It's a nice warm day, so it's not that bad of a hike. You might be sweating a little bit, but it's you're in shade. You have water, I guess, or whatever you want in your rations here. You probably have some snacks or at least a wineskin or something filled with whatever when you left
And
town.
bread.
Yes, and also
And
I
bread.
remembered you have potions that you could just start chugging too. um, the
I have
bartender here,
one
Asog.
potion. I downed my reaction.
You downed one potion, and I'm pretty sure you had like 4.
Yeah, I have 4. I downed my reaction potion. I'm down to 3 left.
So you guys are traveling around this town, trying to avoid the major like intersections of where people are. You do cross a few well-traveled paths on your way, but once you make it to where you're on the other side of the town, approaching where the bandits should be, you start to pick up something a little odd. It's a grossly like sickly sweet smell permeating the area.
I think I see forwarded again.
I sniff my armpits where flowers are to see if it's the flowers.
It seems
No.
like a spring freshness. Well, not quite. Like the bitter movement into fall, more so.
Can I start going on sentry mode? They can look for like, oh, I want to figure out what the sweet smell is. I want to look for like ambushes and bad guys.
Yeah, that's a good thing to do because you also are picking up that this is very clearly like a concealed path. Because of your survivalist skills, you're able to go along and notice that there's an area where there are branches that shouldn't be where they are. It's a very well concealed path, and after you discover this, you're able to travel down this bandit path, we're going to call it, because that's the only people who would be blocking the passage here is people up to no good. And yes, you're picking up the smell more and more as you're traveling closer to what you presume would be a good area to build camps. There's a river coming up ahead, and that's where your survivalist knowledge is like, oh yeah, there's a river that leads up to the mountains. They're probably camped out around there. It seems like a likely idea. And you guys make it to this river, and to try and describe the geographic scene that you're looking at, you're sort of in the woods and you're coming up to this embankment that has a river going straight in front of you. It's like going across. You would have to cross this river to move forward in the scene. It extends in both directions pretty far. And past that is like a little plains field, not too big, like maybe 100 feet, like of just trudging across through long grass. And then that leads to this mountain like rising area. From here, you can see this pathway leading up to a flat spot. It's an elevated area where, of course, there is campfire. You see smoke, you see campfire, you see people laughing. There's some like obvious attempts to build like little half walls on this risen area. So it obscures a little bit, but from here, like they're fully standing, laughing, being like bandits. They're definitely visible to you guys here. The other big thing that I'll note, besides that there's like a cave entrance that they could go further into the mountains, I guess, or a cave near the mountains. Besides that, there is a massive, and I mean massive pile of apples, just like placed near this encampment in that plains area, pouring into the field that I mentioned. That was like about 100 feet to get to their like ramp up. Um, it's a mountain of apples essentially. Well, a hill. Let's call it a hill of apples. And that's probably where that sickly sweet smell is coming from because it's clear that some of them are rotting. And when some of the apples are rotting, that means a lot of the apples are rotting. So So anybody relying on their sense of smell for any skills here are going to have a penalty. I'm looking at you, Apollo. Apollo doesn't care. He can't hear me. Anyways, so you can see that there are about like 4 people there. Nobody's really going near the cave. But you can see that there's 4 people dressed in like bandit gear, and they're all laughing. Probably like
Well,
4:30 p.m.
well, Adichie, I got you here. What do you want to do?
I see. Well, there seems to be a big pile of apples, and I see that there's some bandits up there. Is there
Looking around, is there like any so it's kind of like a cross, like a switchback sort of path to get to the area that they're up at, or
A little bit more simple than that. It's like a straight up ramp that's
Okay.
been chiseled out of stone. It's not a very big ramp. It's probably like it makes it so that they're up about 20 feet. So if you were to run at the elevated area, you'd have to climb about 20 feet, and then like plus 3 feet to get over their little wooden thing. The poor attempt at a
Right back.
no problem.
and is there like, do we see any like sides to it, like maybe like we could go up around to one side, or would we have to cross the river to go and get around to the other side?
You would have to cross the river. And then your option is to go straight, which would lead you between the apples and then their ramp, and you could go up the ramp from there. Or if you go to the right, you could try and go along and climb up, perhaps. If you went right, you could go behind the apples. If you went left, you could go behind the apples. But otherwise, in front of you, it looks like apples, pathway to go to ramp, encampment, and then around the encampment.
Yeah.
The river itself isn't very wide or deep. Pretty shallow, actually. You imagine that they use this regularly to walk across, but your feet will probably get wet.
Mhm.
Yeah, this is a fantasy. I'm not going to make you guys go knee deep in the water.
Hmm.
Maybe that is my fantasy.
Well, yeah, maybe I phrased that weirdly.
Well, it ain't
I
cheap.
just.
Well-
Darn. I'm gonna be muddy again.
Well, I'm pretty sure there's dirt all over here, so I think we're okay.
He is dirt.
Yes, I understand that.
But I just dried out. It's fine. Just move on. Genasi problems.
Well, do you want me to address this or not?
Yes, I do.
Okay. Let's think. Would you? I think it might be better for us to go and inspect these apples before trying to take on an entire encampment.
I'm on board.
What
What?
say you, Aslog?
What'd he say?
I'm on board.
Oh, I'm on board. Oh my
Sorry.
word.
Oh my word.
Oh my word.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, I was like, what does that mean? You're not okay?
I heard it as I'm on board.
I'm
I'm with you.
I have no interest in apples, rotten or otherwise, but I'll work for you.
I see. Well, let us go inspect. Before we just charge full scale in there.
No, I'm just kidding.
And Aslog takes off.
All right, well, try to stay as dry as possible, I guess.
Can I pick
Looking
them
at
both
you.
up? How big am I as a mutant? Can I pick both of them up? They're both. I'm thinking of Adarag and Nimwar. I guess they're probably not that little, but
That's gonna be up to you guys.
Are we willing creatures?
I mean, you do have your criminal past, aka the muscle listener problem solver, at a D10. You are quite big and strong.
Both of them don't want to get wet.
Can I attempt to grow a bunch of vines out of my head and make it into like a little boat?
Yeah, definitely. Go ahead and roll your wild magic.
Alright.
And I like that. So go ahead and give yourself a plus. Let's give you a +3.
I went
Okay, hold on.
nowhere where I thought I was going. I was like, what?
A plus what?
+3.
Don't get me wrong. I love the idea.
Alright.
Just not at all what I expected.
8.
8. 8 is very good. Is that total or is that rolled?
Yeah, 5. So I got an 8.
Okay. Yeah, 8 is a very good roll. Yeah. So what happens is, I'm presuming Adichie, you might, you're a lizard folk, so you might like wrap around him in a way if you're willing. So it's easier. Yeah. So you kind of wrap around.
I scamper up.
Do you have a tail that like you like wrap around his leg or something, or his arm?
Yes, I wrap it around like as a belt for him.
Okay. Yeah, that's
I become
actually
like a backpack.
hilarious.
Stop it!
A backpack, you say? This has backfired on Oslog, who wanted to do the carrying. So yeah, as you do that, you reach out to grab Peculiar's, and it's peculiar that you grab like these vines that just keep growing like it's like the Play-Doh spaghetti maker in a sense, but moving in like a weirdly unnatural. Well, okay, just like a spaghetti maker. Anyways, you try and grab at him, but the vines just like push your hand down, and like the vines you grabbed are now on the like. He's certainly made himself some long vines that are fashioning themselves in a way so that he can cross the water without getting his feet wet.
I see what he's trying
That's
to
some
do.
wild magic.
My just for Oslog, man, he's fashioned this team. He went up to find these bandits, and I'm the warrior. My team just eviscerated them and boiled them alive. And I'm sitting like, oh, Jesus, oh my God, okay. And then I'm like, hey, let's go across the water. I go to pick him up. This one wraps himself around me, and this one just builds a boat out of his face. I'm like, okay.
You've got a backpack that can throw grenades.
This is true. Fuck it. Okay.
So you guys both, or well, I should say, all of you cross the river in your own special ways. Certainly, your feet
Adichie on
get
his
wet,
boat.
Oslog.
I'm okay with my feet getting wet.
Yeah, you don't really care. You're a mutant. You listen to your own problems and solve them. And solving them is going to be walking them dry. So you guys are going to try and be stealthy, going over to behind the apples, perhaps, to investigate?
Yep.
Yeah.
Or did you want to just like walk right on over there, like health inspectors?
I go wherever this one tells me.
And you said stealth?
Up
And
Stealthy,
Peculiars, you're probably wanting stealth?
Oh. Nice stealth.
Yeah. I'm gonna
Okay.
try, except since I'm made of earth, like my steps are pretty loud. So
Yeah, I'm a giant mutant. Would that be
Yeah.
my D4 then for stealth?
Yeah. I'm gonna say you're unsettling because I have Strange Eyes' big body, odd hair.
You say
That's a little
strange
rude.
ass?
Eyes.
Oh, I was like, what's wrong with my ass?
The heart hears what the heart wants to hear, though.
No, my ass!
He's
the,
got a
rest,
dump
the
truck.
rest of me looks normal. I just have a really mutant butt.
That's where
he
you're
has
a mutant.
dump truck.
It's perfectly cube, though.
I have
It's a cube.
Square Lego butt.
You have SpongeBob SquarePants.
Yeah.
Yes.
Ouch.
No, you're a normal mutant.
Is he still on my back?
Unless he doesn't want to be. Roll your survivalist, but you will get a -2 for being this more heavy, rocky earth.
all right.
-2.
Does Adichie, if you stay on my back, do you still have to roll stealth, or do you just go off whatever my stealth was?
So I was just going to be on your back for getting across the water because I'm cold-blooded. I'm a lizard folk. I don't want to get into anything that's going to drop my blood temperature.
You're cold-blooded, and I don't think it has anything to do with being a lizard.
Depending on which dice you take, I either have -1 or 1.
I'll take the -1. No, I'm kidding. Okay.
Well, if it helps, I have either a 1 or a 1.
Oh, that's why you're asking the question.
Yeah,
Okay.
that's why I was curious if he was going with me or on his own.
Okay, yeah, this is yeah, Adichie, if you want to like launch off like some sort of cat-based lizard character here, just like launch off and get to an area and scurry away, you can roll something. But you're probably going to get a -2 for
I
like
think
trying to
I'm-
scurry and stealth quickly.
Yeah, I think I've committed to this. I'm a backpack now that throws grenades.
I love that spirit. And backpack grenade will give a +2. Because I love the idea so much.
To my stealth roll? So it's
not to your stealth roll.
I was like, so
but,
it's a crit
to-
fail
to-
plus
yeah,
2.
if he's going to be a backpack grenade, I'm down with the evil backpack concept.
So we both crit failed our stealth, is what I'm hearing.
Yes, technically based on Savage Worlds, but Savage Pickles, I'm not sure if we have a critical roll like failure thing. But anyways, so as you're smashing in the water and like mudding around and having very loud Play-Doh hair that's made of vines growing and lashing into the water so that you don't have to walk in the water, they do notice you. And it's mostly like one of the bandits like looks over the edge and is just like, what the hell? What? Hey, guys, no, guys, like seriously, guys, come on, guys.
I'm throwing a yellow orb at him.
I'm splashing him.
I'm throwing a
You're
yellow
like
orb.
getting down to the like your ankles, getting some water, and then cupping it and going.
I guess.
Yeah, that works. And like you time this hopefully to like when he's pulling back up, you're going to like swing back and then throw. Like use his water gathering momentum and a splash of water to your face to launch this. It's a bit of a difficult throw because you're throwing it upwards onto an area. So I will give you a -2, but I love the idea. So you already had a +2. Just roll me a plain +0.
+0 to
For your
demonic magic.
Yes.
So that's my D8.
Or
And
yeah, I guess that's what we were using.
yeah, I think my
Yeah.
tinker was a D10, and then the other two were D8s.
Yes.
Yep. All right. That's a 7.
7. Oh, excellent. That is a good roll. So yeah, you launch this capsule or this orb, this mechanical device up over onto over their little wall into their area, and I'm presuming it was the guy who was like getting their attention.
Yep.
Yeah. So what does the yellow orb do again? The yellow
That's
ball?
the Hellfire orb.
Oh, the incinerator.
The
Yes.
incinerator.
Okay. I'll learn eventually. I don't have the rule book here. I'm just your storyteller. Yeah. So as you guys are trudging along, you can all of a sudden see like the
flash.
guys being like, "Hey, what the hell?"
Ding, ding,
This
ding.
fire goes up, engulfs him, and this definitely gets everybody's attention. The 3 other guards let out cries of like, "What the hell? No, what, Johnson?" And there's a certain scurrying and panic going on up there, and that's where things start to get a little bit wild here. Let's just jump over to what the rest of you want to do. I don't know if we'll be able to wrap this up tonight, but we can do a few more steps, I think. Since you're not quite in combat, but things are moving in that direction. And I'd like to jump over to Peculiars and then to Ocelot. Peculiars, what would you like to be doing as things are getting explosive?
I'm just going to, with like a little grin on my face, I'm going to look over at Aslog and just say, I think it's time. I'm just grinning. And then I'm going to just point my hands at him and try to do some wild magic.
Ah! Just kidding, do it.
Some wild magic on your comrade Ocelot.
Yep. See what happens.
Okay, yeah, I love
I'm
it.
gonna- I'm
Go
gonna-
ahead and
Throw this one.
you're gonna throw the grenading
The
thrower.
grenading backpack.
Yeah. Can I launch him at the enemies?
Yes, and that would be like so he throws grenades and you throw him, so he's the grenade. So you're
Mhm.
throwing a grenade, throwing grenade.
Yeah.
It's grenadeception.
That hurts my head a little bit. Yes,
I'll
you
let
can
him.
certainly.
I'll let him throw him before I like finish casting.
Yeah. I want him out of the
Okay.
way so that you can hit me with full blast. But also, I want him to be useful. So I'm like, oh, you'll have better reach from up there.
All right. Go ahead and so you're trying to throw him up to where the combatants are.
If I can't reach that far, like if I am looking at it and can't reach that far, I just want to throw him up so that he can have better reach, and then I can get hit with this thing and hopefully be good to go. By the time he comes back down, I can catch him.
Okay. So here's what
Unless I
I'll give you
die.
as your choices. If you want to just toss him up in the air, I'll give you a +4 on that. You
Mhm.
will succeed, and it's just how awesome you succeed at.
Okay.
If you want to just toss him forward a little bit, it'll be a +2 to make sure he doesn't like trip and fall.
+4.
Uh,
Let's go. I'm going straight up, and then I'll catch him on the way back down after I'm supercharged or
there's a
dead.
few more options though.
Oh.
There's the +0 if you want to throw him like forward to a point where he's near the ramp and he can start going forward. And if you want to go for a heroic roll, a -2, you can try and throw him up onto the like area up there so that he can roll, hopefully, and have his abilities. If you fail the -2, it's not that it's more like he'll just hit the wall and like fall down a little bit.
I'm all for throwing him up in the air, catching him, and looking cool, but I'll be honest, you threw out this heroic roll, and now I have to do it. Sorry, DJ, but
I do
Going
want
for
to
it.
tempt you guys with heroic rules and maybe like superhero rules of like when I give you a -4. If you succeed, this will give you an advantage.
All right. Make sure my dice tray is flat. Big money.
Big money. Big money.
Okay. Wait, with what's the minus? -2?
-2.
Okay. Well, I got a 6 on my on my
Wild
bonus. Yeah, my wild die. -2 would be 4, but does the 6 still count to reroll?
Yeah.
Yep.
My D10, I only got a 2, so that would be terrible. That would be
Yeah.
0.
So well, yeah. So your wild die
Wild
it
die
definitely explodes.
Save my butt
Penalty
again.
or bonus comes at the end.
Okay. So is a 6 plus 5 is 11 minus 2 is 9 total.
9. Yes, that's a great roll. Yeah. So I'm gonna say that you both work together here as a team. So you launch a Dichi, and a Dichi, you pick up that this is happening, and so you plan accordingly, and like you do a roll in the air, and maybe you hit the ground and you roll, and you get up to a combat stance. Yeah, looking just like that.
Yes, I'm
Probably
accurate.
with one of your orbs pulled out and ready for combat here, as you see that there are indeed 3 remaining bandits. But what you didn't see before is that there is a man tied up on the ground here. He looks like a farmer of sorts, and from the cave you see that there is a person emerging, somebody who looks visibly sticky. And as they're like emerging a little bit, it's just you get this bad vibe. It's if you were in middle school, you'd be like, "Oh, it's the booger kid." You just get this bad, icky feeling about him that if he were to hug you, you'd have like a bad time existing anymore. Um, and he's wearing these gross, stained like robes, and that's when he like stretches out here, and he's about to say something when Peculiars, go ahead and roll your wild magic.
All right, I'm just
Yeah,
going
he's
for something
overdosing.
crazy and big here. Oh, my. Hold on.
I'm
Gotta.
excited for
Yes,
it.
I get to roll here too, I guess.
All right. 3 on the D10 and 6 on the D6.
Wild die.
explodes.
It's a reroll then. Yeah.
Yeah, we're getting lucky with our wild dice.
And a 1. So 7.
So a 7. Okay. 7 worth of wild magic. And what kind of flavor are we getting, Mr. Me?
Straight into my
You
chest.
rolled off the mat.
That can't be good. Or it's great.
I'm just trying to think of what. Um,
I'm getting infused with
Bread.
you just scream, "I'm ready for combat!"
Awesome.
No.
I
No,
roll.
you do
I
not
roll
get-
towards the enemy.
you get this cooling sensation that flows over you, a sensation of calm, determination, of like being on the job back in the day. And I know you have a criminal past. There were times where you'd shut your brain off and you'd be like, I've got to go do this, I've got to go solve the problem. You go in and you're the only one who emerges from that building. Like, you know what you need to do, you know that these people are bad, and you have this like soothing sensation that even little scratches that you have on your arms are starting to mend themselves. And that's basically what you feel.
What does it look like when I do it?
Made me an ice cube. Thanks, bro.
You pick up that you're using the element of water.
Okay.
So how does that appear when your character casts it and he feels that?
Okay.
Or how would you like it to appear? I mean,
Yeah, I think when
Ice
I
cold, bitch.
when I do this, it's just like a super fine mist. Like, think about like driving a car and like it's not big raindrops on the windshield, but it's just like a fine, like thick mist. And it's just like a wall of mist coming from my hands that's just like flying past Aslog. And then it goes away.
yeah, definitely. It's very, very fine mist that makes me really angry when I'm driving.
I'm expecting to be like electrocuted or something. I'm like, oops. What the?
You feel cool. You feel like you could get a good workout in right now.
Yeah.
And
Thanks.
I guess I should ask before we do our next whatevers. So are we wrapping up this and doing talks at the half hour mark, or are we continuing for a half hour, or are we ending the half hour mark? What is the plan here?
First off, we started a little late because I went into a bit more explanation and stuff before we got started. Second, it's up to you. As the DM, you have until the hour mark to finish. If you finish before then, perfectly fine. If you take the rest of the time, perfectly fine. It's yours to use as you need. If you don't need it, that's okay. If you need it, that's okay too.
Okay, well, I'd actually like to grab the bathroom, but I can continue. They're trying.
That's okay.
Up a little bit more.
I need to have a talk with this guy who just pissed on my face. Missed on my face. That's what I meant.
Oh, right. Okay, yeah. I thought that was a euphemism for needing to go to the bathroom as well, and I'm like, are you pissing in your face?
I'm really not good at it.
Okay, I'm gonna mute my microphone for real.
Good idea. Yeah. So I'm curious, you guys, as your characters, is this the characters you wanted to make? Is this how how you planned on it going?
I personally love my character. I'm having a lot of fun.
I would like to see. We'll discuss each of our characters. So, what are our thoughts about his character? Because you like your character, Tough Nuts.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I like Peculiars.
I would like to see more chaos to your magic.
Me too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think we should talk to Pickles about a little bit about that. If that's the vibe you want to go for. If you're like, yo, I want some like weird, like wild shit. Like, I think it would be cool to see that. Like, I go to infuse him with stuff, and oh shit, I summoned a troll. Fuck.
Yeah, it would be fun if it was like not just random, but also like embrace the like craziness of it.
Yeah, like I mean, this is a one shot, quote unquote. Like you could, I mean, you could be like, I go to do this, and oh shit, I just teleported him, and I don't know where. Like, hey, Oslog's gone.
We're missing an Aslog.
Yeah, he's flying through the air. He's like, what?
Yeah, but do you want me to like say what happens, or should that be Pickles though?
Yeah, but I don't know if Pickles like wants all that responsibility, because then he might feel pressured, because he might be like, I do this. He doesn't want to screw your character over. where it's like, oh, you summoned a troll, and now you guys have to fight a troll, and then you're like, well, that's not what I wanted to do. Because then Pickles would feel bad. He's like, well, okay, you didn't need to do that. I just did that to be funny, but
Yeah, I
Yeah,
could
you
try
said
to
so.
be more, out there with it and just describe maybe what I'm trying to do and then what happens.
yeah,
If
it could
he
be
lets
you,
me, I guess.
or could be him. It's just it'd be cool to see. Like, I don't know. It's really, if he feels comfortable with it, he could do it. If you're okay with that, or if you want to take
Depends
over.
on the role, I guess. I don't know. We can
Yeah.
talk about that later.
Yeah, it would be interesting to see. Well, over our
What
three
are we
characters,
talking
we got to
about?
discuss one. So, do we want to talk about it now? I don't...
I mean, we can come back to this. I mean, the adventure's not over, but with only a half hour left, it's sort of a sprint to the finish line, so to speak. But also, I'd like for somebody else to be running games too, as well. I don't want it to be, the Mr. Pickle show over here.
Maybe
I
we.
like pickles from.
Yeah, this
Okay,
is.
well, you're
fantastic.
allowed to like
wrap up
that,
this
but-
one and then do a under the table session in between where we talk about the series.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah, we could do under the table and then plan on like one more session to close out the adventure next time.
Yeah, I'm down for that if you guys are.
Oh,
Yeah,
you mean
I
do
just
like
don't
an under
want
the
to.
table now?
Oh yeah,
Well,
that's what I was.
I
I
was
don't
saying-
want
I was
Pickles
saying
to
we
have to
could-
rush.
I was saying we could finish it and then do an under the table, but yeah, I see your point too. Yeah, you shouldn't have to rush.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm okay with you taking 10 sessions to do this. That's perfectly fine by me. As far as I know, we're gonna do this podcast every week, so we've got. forever
Yeah,
for- Adis told me
I
that
like
he
doing
needs
this on
more times
Mondays.
before he needs to run his game too. So
I just don't
Yes.
necessarily want to hog the spotlight of the GM role in this.
Adis, are you
I'd like
ready
for
to
other
go for
people to
next
shine
week?
too.
Give me one more week.
Tough Nuts, are you ready to go for next week?
I'll play Peculiars.
No, it's a DM.
Well, and
No.
also I
Okay,
wanted this to be
so there you go, Pickles.
like
You
we
have
could
to-
pick this up when we truly don't have anything like more professional prepared. Like this is sort of our. Yeah, what do you guys want to do? You
So
down
I'm
for
gonna
it this week?
go around real quick so we don't waste a whole lot of time. Continue the session or dive into a discussion.
Let's do some- let's
Uh,
do
I would
table.
rather. Yeah, so I would rather. Wait, who are you pointing to?
I'm pointing to Adis on my screen. I don't know
Okay.
where you guys are. Adis.
That's
yeah.
correct for me.
So yeah, I'm. I like the amount. I like the story that we're going through right now. But I think I want to give it its full conclusion. I don't want to rush the conclusion of the story too much.
That's fair.
So I'm okay with jumping into a discussion and
Tough Nuts, you
Go for it.
basically second that. You said the same thing. If I remember right.
Yeah.
Pickles, you good going
Yeah,
into a
I think
discussion
that's
then?
probably best. I'd
Perfect.
rather. I mean, because I'm fitting this into like hour-ish sessions.
Yeah, it's
That's a surprising challenge.
is it? Yeah. I don't know. I thought it'd be a fun thing, but maybe we can discuss like, is it good? Is it not working? Maybe we need.
Well,
to
we can
tweak it.
we can continue our discussion that we were just having of like talking about our characters and what
Yeah.
we like.
So
far.
let's rope Mr. Pickles into what we discussed while he was otherwise indisposed.
Yeah, misting.
Misting, yes, misting.
Misting.
Ugh.
So I asked, how do you guys feel about your characters? Are they turning out the way you wanted, you thought? And we didn't get to anyone's yet, except Tough Nuts said that he loves his character. He loves the way he came out. And I was like, well, let's all discuss that, because I brought up a point, and maybe I'm the dick in this. I said I didn't. Well, I like his character. What I said, I feel like the bad guy now. What I said was, I would like to see more chaos to his magic. The bread thing was gold. I was like, yes, like perfect, like yeah, some weird shit. And granted, the next one he boiled the guy, and I was like, yeah, crazy wild. You never know what you're gonna get. And granted, the next one he missed it on my face. Like that kind of fits in too. What I'm saying is like, I don't know. I'd like it to be like unpredictable to where like some of the examples I gave, like he goes to shock me and like imbue me with some crazy magic and accidentally summons a troll, and it's like, oh fuck, like now there's a troll, and he's just like, why am I here? Where did I had a family? I'm gonna kill you. Or, you know, he goes to do it and, you know, I throw Adishi's in the air soaring, and Peculiarus hits me with this blast, and all of a sudden I just vanish. And they're like, where'd Ocelot go? And that could be, that could be you just teleport me like 20 feet away, and it's been like 5 seconds for me, but it's been 2 rounds in combat or so. I don't know. But like the complete chaos to it was just, it's fun to see. And I would like to see more of it. And I don't think that's necessarily that you haven't done it. It's just we've only had 3 instances of it so far, so I'm excited to see more of it. Is I guess what I was getting to. Somebody say something so I don't feel bad.
Oh, good.
Go ahead, Pickles.
I just saw your mouth was full, so I was just gonna jump in your place. Yeah, like I am a big fan of Water Genasi myself.
You played
Some
one,
people
if I
might
remember
remember, in a delightful little campaign.
What was your character
Lily,
name? Lily.
Yeah, my go-to lady name. Yeah, so
You know Liliana
like-
is based off your character, right?
I did not know that.
Yeah. Your character was
but-
inspiration for Liliana. Anyways, continue.
Okay, well that's
They
my
met
new
Liliana.
best friend that will never love me. But anyways, where was I going?
Sorry. I
I don't know.
Yeah,
she
well, so
described
I
Bronco as a
feel like
friend.
I feel like I get Genasi, like the draw to playing a Genasi, and it's having those elements and like trying to play them. So that's why I wanted, since you wanted to be able to cycle through them, I thought you would obviously want like moments where it changes. And you said once per day, and so I'm going to try and stick to that. As it's not like going to be super common, but it just felt like a good moment to bring in that the drawback you chose, your D4, to see what happens there.
I can hear you're saying this like a bad thing. I think it was great. I thought that was awesome.
Well, I guess I'm trying to temper like I'm saying what I'm trying to go for, and why I think that I'm making a good effort, and your interpretation, of course, is your interpretation. But yeah, with the wild magic, that is something I think as a storyteller I am struggling a little bit on, because I have a number of options that I chose, and I think I need to make sub options as well, because it's just like just on the fly, it's like, okay, you watered on him. What do we do? You said positive. You said positive.
It could literally
And
could
you rolled
be
a 7 or something, a 7 or an 8. You rolled pretty decently. So it's not like I'm going to be like, oh, you just water all over him. You hose that boy down, and he's all just glistening. And okay, it was also lubricant, so he's really glistening.
That's fair.
That felt unfair with that good of a roll. So it's like, well, what do you want with this? Do I make him Jello Man and just really loosey goosey? I don't think that would play well. So I was just like, let's go for. He's got good stamina regeneration, which isn't a thing in this game, and he's also got
I have a bonus that doesn't even apply. I'm actually okay
Well,
with
like,
that. That's
in the
kinda
sense of-
cool.
well, it's a stupid joke, but like,
No, I kind of like that. If you're like, you got 300 extra mana points, and I'm like, do we have mana points? You're like, no.
No.
I'm like, cool. I think that's a great meme. I actually love that.
I do want things that are just weird and specific like that to be able to provide a bonus. Because now, as we go into this, you are enchanted with water. Where does water apply, and where can I give you a +1 to 2 bonus on things?
You know what? All you've told me is I got stamina regeneration, which isn't even really a thing. Fuck yeah, I did. I'm okay with that. That's worth a 7 roll. Hell yeah, I got stamina regen. I'm gonna run in there and be like, yo, Dishi, I got stamina regen. He goes, what's that? I'm like, I don't know.
You're like, I can come multiple times.
Yeah, buddy. Round
Oh my
1.5.
No, I have a bunch of thoughts.
Okay, yeah.
One with the changing of forms. I think, I mean, once a day is great. If you want to do it more, I'm fine with that. But I think it doesn't have to influence the wild magic I cast. I think it would more influence my like day-to-day, like how I'm interacting with the world. So, and we've done that. Like with the water, like I was able to drink a ton and it just like absorbed in me. Or like with the earth, I'm able to like I'm less stealthy, more heavy. I'm able to blend in well though. Like, I think that's enough for the flavor of changing forms. But when it comes to like casting magic, I think anything could happen. Like, and I think
I think the range from bread to boiling people was perfect.
I've got some delightful options. Like I've got all of the ones that you'd expect, but then I decided to upgrade from a D8 to a D12 of options. So there
I like it.
and I will tell you two of the options. I have to tell you two of the options. One of them is the worst possible choice for the situation, and one of them is the best possible choice for the situation. And I think
Okay.
you've rolled the best possible choice before when you boiled somebody as you demanded.
That was the best.
oh, okay.
I won't tell you anymore, but I feel like that's fair to know, is that there is that range of, even if you do get like a crazy high number, if you get a 22 on your wild magic and you're like, I want to boil somebody alive, and you got that worst possible choice. Well, it's a weird encounter, but
Okay. Yeah, that's fine. The other thing that we discussed is like, if you want me to be more descriptive on what I'm trying to do and then what happens, and then you just tell me if it does or not based on the roll, I can try to do that too.
as much as you guys want to, that goes for all of you. I'll ask questions, and if you want to describe like what you want to do, then we can go with that. Especially as we roll successes. If you feel descriptive, by all means.
Okay. Yeah, I can try to do that to make it more like crazy wild. But yeah, I think you're doing a good job of it too. So
Okay. Well, as long as you're having fun playing a Genasi with wild magic, I mean that's the key here. Is I want you to have. Well, I want each of you to have fun.
I definitely am.
Let me go back to my
Okay,
original
good.
point. My original point was I was like, man, I really want to see more chaos from your magic. Like, that would be cool. And then as I was saying it, I realized it's only happened 3 times. And granted, we had bread, we had boiling people, and then we had misting on my face. And I thought about that and was like, actually, yeah, that's a pretty good range of chaos magic. Like, you never know what you're going to get. So I was like, actually, I mean, it is, you are nailing it on the head. I guess really I'm excited to see more. Is it, which isn't anyone's fault. It just means I want to play more so that I get to see him do more crazy shit. Is basically
Maybe I should just try to cast more.
He did mad vinage, bro.
he did do that.
Yeah, did my vines.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. That was yeah.
I guess it's fantasy.
Yeah. So I like his character. I'm just excited to see more of it. So I guess it's really not a negative
good.
if I wanted to put on there. It's more of a yeah, do more.
Do it again. Do it again.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
All right. In the interest of going last, what do you think of your character? Adishi is who I'm pointing to.
Yeah. So I like the way that my character is being played. I think some of the issues that I have with him are mostly personal, just like I don't think I'm as charismatic as my character should be. And that's just like personally, like I personally am not as charismatic as my character should be.
I also put you on the spot on that one, so I was like, "You're the boss. Tell us what to do," and you're like, "Ah." Yeah, that's fine.
But the other thing I was really expecting more of, and I mean, not a bad thing. I'm loving the way that this grenade throwing lizard folk is going. But I was expecting every time that I threw a grenade, I was going to have to roll some sort of demonic pact to like offset that a little bit of like, all right, yeah, you get to do this like crazy powerful magic thing, but
It comes at a cost.
you also there's a cost to it, sort of thing. That's kind of what I was envisioning. So
that's one thing I was going to ask too. I was going to be like, where's the demonic pact come in? And granted, I don't want to put Pickles on the spot for not doing it, because he's had 2 sessions with you, 3 now.
Yeah.
I've had 4 or 5 with Adarag, who also has a demonic pact, and I haven't brought it in at all. So,
yeah.
So I don't want Pickles to be
show
like,
me the
"Oh wow,
demons."
I didn't do it. I didn't do it either. It's okay."
Yeah, no, and like honestly, I'm having a lot of fun with it, but I've also kind of been pushing things seeing if I could get a reaction. I'll be honest. I've been pushing things trying to get a reaction.
Yeah, well, get in the mind of a demon who made a pact with a mortal that's tinkering weapons of destruction to like
Yeah.
save one person. You can destroy a lot of creatures,
Yeah.
and so you did roll your demonic pact in the first session when you got to the
Yes.
farmhouse, and you
Mhm.
got part of a message that was make them suffer.
Yeah.
And so when you found some bandits, you
I
made
made
some
them
blood
suffer.
sacrifices and scorched some enemies for your demon god. Like
Yeah.
you're like
I
coming in
see.
being
Okay.
like, here's a 20, here's a 10. You know what? I'm
Yeah.
doing good,
Okay.
man.
I see.
You know what? The
Okay.
goblin, that's
Yeah.
100. He's like, okay, well, that's your debt is like thousands, if not millions. So the 130 off of your like debt.
Before you
Good
continue,
effort.
I wanna what's the word? Guess something. Don't
Sure.
tell me if I'm right. You haven't seen a lot of payback as far as from your demonic pack because you're technically doing the right thing. You're offering bodies and sacrifices up to him.
Mhm.
What happens when you're not?
Yeah.
What happens when you stop offering sacrifices when we're in town and you're not just murdering all the townsfolk and all of a sudden he's like, "Hey, it's been a while."
Yeah.
Haven't gotten any payments in a bit. I'm
Yeah.
gonna start fucking with you now because you aren't paying.
You're holding up your side.
So I'm curious if it's because you have been pushing the button and have been offering that things are going okay.
Yeah.
What happens when that dries up?
Yeah.
I
haven't even thought about that.
I wonder
so...
if that's the route that he's going. Because what he said there is, he's like, "Oh yeah, you are offering sacrifices." I was like, "Oh,
Oh.
I wonder if that's the route he's going with this. That could be interesting."
And if that is the case, Pickles, I appreciate that. I didn't even think about that, but that is a good way to do it. I like it.
I'm not allowed to tell if you tell
I
anybody if they're right or not.
I hadn't thought
in a
of that
game that
either
allegedly
until
doesn't matter.
I just thought of it. Now I'm kind of mad I didn't think of it first, unless I did just think of it first. I don't know.
I mean, that's how a demonic pact works, right? You either
Yeah.
give your soul or others or something.
Souls of
but
others
you could
for
also
a
go with
trade.
blood demons or something if they're like weirdos.
Mm-hmm.
You didn't go for like you needed a heart like made perfectly or something.
Yeah, I had to
Oh.
gain their understand.
You
Yeah,
probably made a pact with a blood demon.
God, and like, isn't heart like
Oh,
the
gross.
strongest? Like, that's gotta be a
Ew.
big pact too.
that's
He
gotta
said
be a strong
ew.
pack.
Ew. Gross.
I don't know where I'm going with that. We're under the table.
So Ozlog,
Yeah,
you guys got
Ozlog.
this?
How's that
Ozlog.
looking?
I don't know. To be honest, it's a tough one because like I'm so used to being the face. I'm so used to being the leader. I'm so used to being the one to push things that now it's like, what do you guys do? And I'm just like, I'm gonna just sit here like, because I'm not the leader. I'm supposed to be the henchman. I'm supposed to be the. So it's really I like the concept of it. I've always wanted to play this type of character. Pickles knows this. I've wanted to be like the right hand man, the muscle, the backup for a long time. I guess it's like his version of the support, except instead of like the science officer, I'm like the weapon. Instead of the brain, I'm the hand. And it's tough for me because I'm trying to think of ways to make my character interesting, and I just feel like I'm just standing there like, what are we doing? Like, what now? And it's tough. It's not bad. It's just I haven't found that like connection to my character, I guess. And part of me thought of, if I had gone, there's two routes I could see myself going with this concept of a character: the right hand man, the weapon, the backup. One being the muscle, being the tank, the defensive shield in front of whoever my boss is, in this case Dishi, who I just self-appointed that. The other one being the stealth sniper assassin style. And I noticed it as soon as we came to this session where he saw these guys on the hill and he gave us 3 options. I was like, I could sneak off by myself, get into an advantageous position, set up Overwatch, be a sniper, cover my allies as they go up the ramp and I can start sniping guys and taking care of them. And I'm like, but I'm Aslog. What do we do?
To make another character?
You're now my transport across the river.
Yeah, I don't want to give up Oslog because I feel like Oslog is.
You don't have to give him up. You could just be in the town. You can make other characters that you play from time to time. You don't have to be married to one character.
One thing before we talk about new characters with Aslog,
He's like, whoa.
one thing I have noticed and I think is working really well is the dynamic of control and like leadership when we're in like negotiations or conversations or making plans for like what we're gonna do, then yeah, that's up to Adichie. He's the boss. But as soon as we're in combat, I think it's great when Aslog like takes command of that situation. You are now in charge until it's safe again. And I feel like that's a very fitting role for you, and you've been doing that. And I think it adds like a lot of depth to your character because you can take charge when you are playing to your strengths and when you need to do what's best for your boss. But you let him lead when it's not like a life or death situation type of thing.
Yeah, and you did that really well in the last meeting with the bandits where you kind of ran out from behind that tree, took the potion, and started going at it.
Granted, I got spotted. I didn't have... I was like, oh, they're like, you! I was like, dang it!
Well, I will take charge of me existing.
To be fair, I trust, like, I'm all for a group that's like super stealthy all the time and like tries to optimize in that way. But I feel like it's kind of rare to get a D&D group or just a role-playing group in general that's like, we're not stealthy, but we're still going to be effective in fights and do our thing. I think it's kind of fun to do something different because I feel like everyone goes stealth. So I'm kind of okay with it.
That's fair. Yeah, I want to stick with Oslog. I think I like the way Tough Nuts put that depth to the character is what I'm looking for, and I think there is some to be found. I've scratched the surface. I haven't gotten there yet, so I don't think it's worth trashing the character. I think the character has a lot to offer. It'll just take more sessions, which isn't fair to Mr. Pickles, who's like 3 sessions is enough. And we're like, yeah, we're just gonna keep going. Okay, cool.
Oh, well, yeah, I guess I did sort of phrase that as if we could continue after this adventure.
Yeah.
Which is technically possible, I guess.
Yeah.
A couple things. One, if one of us, like, let's say Adam starts DMing, we could use the same characters as long as he's cool with it, or make new ones, like either way. And also, I think it's maybe a fun dynamic if our group is just known for being like super confident, just cocky, walk into situations. Like people, that could be kind of just our MO, like.
To your first point, that would be interesting. Say Adichie or say Tough Nuts or say I DM for a bit. If we just continue on with the same, which I guess is technically what we were trying to do. It was one of our concepts originally for this miniseries, and we just kept the DMs going, swapping out and just changing up the story. If say one of us DMs next, and Pickles just creates a character and brings him into the group, and the other character maybe goes home for a bit, sick mom and all that. Like the group would just continually like swap out whoever is DMing. What are your thoughts on that, Pickles? As the current DM of this group, is that something you think would work? If you finish up your story for this one, and we go off on whatever adventure with whatever your character is, I've got 2 questions. First, do you think it would work as a DM? And second, is this a party that you think you would want to join as a player? Sorry, I couldn't keep a straight face. I don't know if that's going to get a good answer.
Well, I mean, my whole point of this was that it's a mostly improvised nonsense game that you could just pick up and play, and that anybody should be able to pick up and play theoretically if they had my one sheet system. Um, so I feel like I'm not married to Happy Meadow, like in the sense of it's a simple town. We could do anything to it, and I really wouldn't care that much. It's lumber, wool, and apples. So if I said lumber, apples, and wool, I could have said it's the law. But um,
Well,
yeah, like if we
always to that point, we could always go to the next town over, and Adishi DMs that town, and we go to this town, and Tough Nuts DMs that town. We go to this town. Maybe there's like 4 towns within a day or 2 journey of each other, and then hey, we're headed back to Happy Meadows for a bit. Pickles
Yeah.
is gonna DM.
like our mountain town and our Happy Meadow town, Port Town, and
Yeah,
other
and,
towns.
and there we've created our world. We're world building.
I
Yeah,
think you wouldn't have to keep the same character, like just as an option. Like I'm just thinking, if we go to a new campaign, I'm really enjoying my character, so I kind of want to just keep exploring it. But maybe Adam, wants to try something new. He could totally do that. I don't know.
well, that was my point for like no matter who continues, if it is me continuing, I have no problem with people having a roster of characters they want to play. If you show up and you're like, hey, so like I've been playing a healer for a while, can I play like a fire wizard for some reason? It's like, yeah, for sure, why not? You don't have to trash a character, they can just be in the town. And especially if we do multiple towns, then you could have characters in each town and just do it that way. Like
Before anyone
I don't know,
asks, you're
but-
not allowed to do this in King's Crossing because I can't afford that many artists and that many emojis.
I think that the like most critical thing here is that we'd have to agree on a system. And I made this up as something that would be easy for me.
I think we
So
all
it's sort
agreed
of like-
we were just gonna roll with this system.
I like this system a lot.
Yeah, it's
I-
super simple and easy. I like it.
It's
No
it
need
makes
to
it
complicate it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, and that was the goal. So, the flaw is that progression is sort of not really thought out at all. So, like, yeah, you have a D10. You could upgrade things to a D12, become truly heroic.
I'm gonna be totally honest. From my point of view, I don't really give a fuck.
You
About
could get magic
progression.
items that should be
Yeah.
honored between games,
+1
theoretically.
or whatever. Like, I mean, like if you're like, oh, you're gonna upgrade a dice, like eventually, maybe, yeah, that'd be cool. But if you're like, hey, that might not happen for months, I'm like, I'm okay with that. Like, I'm okay.
Yeah, because I think the big thing about most systems where progression is important is because you start to feel more powerful as you go along in the system. In this one, I feel like we are pretty powerful right off the bat. So you don't have to try to bridge that gap with like, okay, you need to have this level up here with this system that's going that you have going here. Which I don't see as a problem, especially for something that you're only going to play for an hour at the end of a podcast. I don't think that being too powerful is a bad thing.
Yeah.
That's fair.
And also, you can always balance it. Like, I agree with Adam. Like, I feel like we're pretty powerful. Like, I literally have magic that can do pretty much anything I say, which that's crazy. Like, that wouldn't happen in any other system,
you
which
think
is
of
fun.
like D&D, you'd have to be like level 15 at least to start seeing
Yeah.
that.
Yeah, so I don't feel like I need that progression, but maybe as we like get more experience, like know each other better, maybe get some magic items or something, you could just the DM, whoever's DMing at the time, could present maybe more challenging scenarios. But
Oh yeah. And I do realize that bandits and perhaps what happens next with an Applecaster will seem
I love the idea that there's an apple wizard. Like, it's just, what?
it's a main export.
And his name is
Um,
Steve.
I love it.
Yeah, I was hoping to get through into that fight and have a wonderful time because I'm really excited for that where the fantasy actually shines. But my goal was to make something just simple and approachable, and like bandits I know are tried and true, and nobody likes people attacking animals. And I'm just going to presume that you probably dropped the dog off with the kids.
I was wondering what happened
Yeah,
to the
I was
dog.
about to
But
say, yeah.
we can get to that next time.
Grant, the
just-
dog's still with us at the river, I think.
Oh, that's Apollo.
I meant both dogs.
That's also Apollo. It's new Apollo.
New Apollo. Yeah, we just took the dog. It's
No.
our dog now.
Peculiars just keeps on accumulating dogs over the campaign.
We like session like 40, and people were like, "How many dogs does he have?" And we like cat tally it up. We're like 400.
Do you count Pomeranians?
802 and a half.
No, not a dog.
Okay.
482 then, not a half.
Yeah.
I'm good with it. So we go forward, yeah. Next week, same time, same thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess so.
You okay with that, Pickles? You have
was
to
just
be
so-
because
Did we decide before I was here that Adam is DMing the next group
No,
of
I
sessions?
just keep throwing him in. I just keep
Oh,
throwing.
okay.
It was him and I for like 2 hours, so we
Yeah.
just we're an hour and a half or so.
Hour and a half. Yeah.
Well,
Well,
Been
it's
ripping.
something you could do. Like, if we
No,
want to have
yeah.
this be a shared setting, is
I've started
you could.
to. I have actually started to think about what this what the next progression might be and what a campaign might look like for at least me to try my wheels out with the training wheels on with the DMing thing.
And I'll start thinking about it too. I've got some ideas as well. So
I was gonna say, like, when you're here and Mr. P-Chain's not here, you could always just sit at the local bar.
Yeah.
If you wanted to have some moments in character. You know.
Oh God, D and Discord all over again. No.
Yeah. Oh no, this is gonna kill the
No.
podcast.
Yeah, no. We've tried
And that's
to
the
run.
mode to end on.
Yeah, that's. I'm not even gonna explain it. That's where we're gonna end it. I think. I haven't done this before. I was talking to Adise before, and I need to drop notes or drop like a topic of what we're gonna discuss beforehand, so that way you guys can actually come into the podcast and at least be somewhat prepared. On that note, I think coming into next week, and granted, whoever's actually here for it, D and Discord would be an interesting one to discuss.
Oh,
And
no.
for those who don't know, what that is it's primarily a text-based D&D game. So instead of meeting on here, you would just type in Discord as you were available.
Throughout the day.
it sounds slow.
Yeah, it's slow.
Yep.
It's just kind of over a period of time. It's like as you have time, you can pop in. People are hanging out. You pop in. You say what your character's doing. You know, and you guys can go on quests. You guys can do all that. It has just as much availability, and actually text-based D&D games, TTRPG games, aren't big, but I mean they definitely have a media.
niche.
Yeah, there's people out there who that's all they do. Like that's what they do. And they're very much a thing. I'm gonna leave it at that. I'm not gonna say any more of my thoughts on it. We're gonna come back next week and discuss it. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, that's it for this one, guys. Drinks and Discussions, the RPG podcast. Hopefully, you guys enjoyed. A little dirty. Even got into the little mini series with Mr. Pickles. Thank you so much, Mr. Pickles, for DMing this. Thank you guys for showing up. Quick shout out to some of our sponsors. King's Crossing Saga 2 finale happens tomorrow night. If you're watching this live, if you're watching this on YouTube, it will have posted like a week ago, so you're behind. You can catch the whole series over on YouTube. Go check those out. Drop likes, comments. I appreciate it. King's Crossing Saga 1 resumes in a week, right? No, yeah, on Sunday. Yeah, so
We're done with that really sad game.
Yeah.
The bad times in the woods.
Yeah.
We're on to the positive game with the sad times in the swamp.
Yeah. Wow, it's almost like we hang out too much. King's Crossing Saga 1 resumes real soon. Yeah, Strange Town of Golden Ridge wrapped up the second season, the second chapter. That is all up on YouTube. You can check out those episodes. Let us know what you thought. And I took that personally. Has a new episode coming out.
I'm
Soon-ish.
I'm Mr. Pickles, but I also go by Adam, and I took that personally. A podcast show that I do with my friend Brad. It's about movies and TV shows and stuff, and we talk about everything, and mostly Lord of the Rings this time. Boromir jokes are made, and I understand them. It should probably come out. The goal is like the 31st.
Yo, you even got these two excited.
If you like Lord of the Rings talk and talking about fantasy and post-apocalyptic genres, then you are probably going to like this episode because it is the longest episode so far, and I got tasked with editing it. So hopefully finishing up next weekend or by next weekend.
How would you guys feel? So next week our topic is D and Discord. What if the week after we discuss and I took that personally?
Oh no, I don't want to
No.
be dissected.
I am going to watch all of them.
Bullshit. That's what
Maybe
Shifty
skip
did.
the Evil Bong one.
I'll do my best.
Evil Bong was
I'm
fun.
super busy in the next
No.
couple weeks, but I'll do my best.
If
No,
in
I got
2
time at
weeks
work.
or
No, it's
so, if in 2 weeks you
no.
can watch this one episode that he's about to drop, and then we could come back and we discuss that on.
It's gonna be
That'd be
like an hour and a half.
I could do that.
I've got 8 hours at work, man.
I've got.
I don't know if I could catch up on all of them, but I could probably watch one before then. So
Yeah, just if you can, whenever they drop that one,
Oh no.
if they drop it in time and we have enough time, we'll get to that. I would love to do and I took that personally, dissection. Not specifically because it's an RPG, but if you guys are discussing an RPG aspect idea, I think it'd be worth discussing. Plus, we're partners, so. What other?
It's on Spotify and Apple Podcasts. That's all.
There you go. The Baldur's Gate 3 playthrough is up on YouTube. You can check that out. We've got another. That series is resuming as of next week, so you'll be able to check that out as soon as King's Crossing Saga 2 wraps up. Baldur's Gate 3 will be kicking off, so be ready for that. In the meantime, check in next week to hear how Minds of Fandelver is going. They should have an episode coming out on next Sunday, so we'll be discussing that next Monday. Yeah. Uh-oh.
potentially, I'm working with my group to try and schedule because we're all going to be out of town that Sunday on a trip together, but not everyone, only half of us. So we got to find another day.
Never mind. The only other thing I got is I've got a Stardew Valley Let's Play, which apparently is blown up on YouTube. It's got thousands of views. People like it for some reason. It's crazy. I get panty rated a lot for some reason. The town's going crazy. I don't know what's going on, but no one likes underwear. It's weird. I don't know what's happening. Go check it out on YouTube. And that's all I got. Thank you, gents, for showing up again. And I'll see some of you tomorrow. I'll see you guys tomorrow as well. And Pickles, I'll see you when I see you.
Yep.
Later.